What was that? Yeah, we just our remote connection back to the station. Right is very light. It's literally we were about to. We disappeared. I don't know that anyone knew that. It was a very light. To our very light, our foreplay music, but we could have been in real world of hurt there. That could have been very, very interesting. We had been connected a while. Yeah, totally fine. Talking to Italian all night in the studio, and then showtime hits, and we're about to turn on mics. Indeed. No, it's a metaphor. Yeah, it's going on right now with baseball dinner. It's a harbinger of things to come. And take a look. Let's up that. We got 4 hours. Position problem. He's got fired. He's got to go. Season's over. I get it. We got 4 hours to break this all down now. I'd like to start the show over again. It was a weird start. It was like my mom walked in on me or something to get this thing started. So we're live at AleSmith Brewing today. We'd love to have you guys out. We're going to be here 6 to 10. Brady's going to be here after us. And then after that, we're going to go to Chris today. And listen, it's obviously a big series that we'll talk about, but a pretty crap series that just wrapped up in Minnesota. We'll talk about all of that today, but let's do the normal Friday. We're loose. We're having fun intro. I'm Woodsy. I'm the co-host of the program. Paul Rydell is our executive producer. And he is currently in charge of keeping us on air on our YouTube stream. You can see us. Good morning. If you're watching on YouTube as well, you can see the panic in our faces, and you can hear the panic in our voices. Benjamin Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor, and our Secretary of Homeland Exploration is here as well. Good morning, Benjamin.
Good morning. It's good to be back here. We have a lot of good memories, I think, from this place from last October.
When I walked in here, all I could taste was root beer barrels, because when we were here last time, I brought that 45-pound bag of Dad's root beer barrels, and I don't know, I sucked on about 400 all the time we were here. We did have some really good memories here, and let's make some more today. So if you're here, one, stop by. Love to see you today. Come by, say hello. We've already got one guy in the house. Well, just one. What's your name, sir?
Phoenix Tree Rat.
Oh, that's Tree Rat. Why do I do that every time? Phoenix Tree Rat's here, and he's brought us gifts. Phoenix Tree Rat, if you remember, is the guy that scared the ever-loving mess out of Ben as Ben was walking into the old studio. Phoenix Tree Rat used to go walk in the morning before it got warm, and Ben was walking in. He goes, "Hi, Ben," and Ben just
I mean,
scared to death.
Can I paint a better picture?
No,
for this?
that's fine. I think
it's a deserted office park at 5:30 in the morning or whenever it is we're getting started, and it's next to a cemetery, by the way. That's right.
I forgot about that.
Right over the fence, right there. And I know I'm not the paranormal kind of guy, but there's not supposed to be anyone there. I'm scared of the living. Tree Rat is definitely the living who is, and you don't expect to be there in the middle of the night behind a building. I mean, it's some public trail or anything, and he's addressing me by name in the middle of the night. I mean, it's pretty much your scariest stalker nightmare.
Pretty much
come to life right in front of your eyes. At the time you least expect it.
No question about it.
But he's a really nice guy.
He's the greatest guy. Brought us these. He brought me a bucket hat, and I said, "Well, I can't wear it." He goes, "We can let Bo wear it." And I said, "Yeah, he looks cooler with it than I do, certainly." And a couple of those hat holders that you put your hats on keeps your hats kind of fitted. And very, very sweet man, and has been a tier 1 listener for a long time. How was everyone's afternoon yesterday? I got to tell you about something that happened to me for the first time yesterday.
Well, I mean, I tweeted about my lunch, which was
Let's save your lunch.
That's pretty much the extent of my day yesterday.
I'm like really worried about you. I saw that tweet and I went, "There's something going on." Like, are you okay?
No one's okay right now in San Diego.
Is it just because of the Padres that you've decided
Did they break you?
Are you broken?
I'm always on the verge of being broken. You know this, especially
That's what scares me about
my schedule late in the week.
I know.
You never know when I'm about to fall apart.
Well, listen, I want to do it, but I don't want to waste it here. It's so good that I feel like maybe the 8:00 restart.
I was going to say, that's 8 o'clock.
It's 8:00 material. And
I'll save it. That's fine.
And honestly, Paulie, what's our first guest today? What time?
8:35.
I don't know that 35 minutes is going to do it justice at 8:00. Maybe we should plan our shows a little bit better, because
the tweet I saw really domed me out by Ben, and it's something that even I would not do, and I don't even think Paulie would do. You know what?
I mean, I think once you hear my explanation, you'll understand
Absolutely
what was
not.
going on.
Unless your leg was broken and you were abandoned in your home and you had a flat tire in your car, and AAA wasn't answering, you have no excuse for what you did yesterday as a 47-year-old man.
I'll explain, and
right,
everything will be fine.
Let's do it now. We've teased it long enough. I will do it now. We can bring it back. My story's lame. I got hit with a bat at T-ball practice. That was my big story. I put the ball down, and the kid, I always tell him, hey, wait till let me clear. And he just whack and got me right here on the tips of two fingers. Now, these are 5-year-olds.
You have joined the ranks of every T-ball coach in the history of T-ball.
It's unbelievable.
To get whacked by someone's bat by a kid who got a little over-eager.
And then, of course, I went and walked away, and then I had to walk off so that I could curse under my breath. And the tips of these two fingers are so painful. So anyway, yesterday I'm looking at Twitter and I saw Ben tweet. Will you read? Do you have your tweet handy?
Do you want me to just read the tweet so I tweeted, I just made a grilled cheese for lunch.
Okay. No problem there.
By toasting 2 hot dog buns and then microwaving the cheese on top. I feel dirty.
What the hell is wrong
What is wrong with you? All right. So you're out of bread, clearly.
No, we weren't out of bread. We had some sourdough bread.
So you opened up the buns.
You chose hot dog buns.
I did.
You opened up the buns. You toasted them on what?
I toasted it in a toaster. We have a pop-up toaster.
Okay.
So
you slide them.
I unfolded and slid them in and then pushed down the two
I don't have a
little
problem with that.
Okay.
to toast it up.
I would do that if I was making a hot dog.
Sure.
I can't put cheese in there because it's sideways.
Clearly.
So it would just fall right off.
Right.
So I had to toast it
Yeah,
first.
you don't put slices of cheese
And then
in a
once
toaster.
it was toasted, I was able to flatten it down on a plate.
Okay. And
And
then
I took a slice of cheddar from, one of those pre-sliced Trader Joe's bags of sharp cheddar cheese. And I put it on top, and I then microwaved it for 30 seconds, which resulted in a very melty piece of cheese on top of a still slightly toasted feeling bun on the bottom.
Now, 2 hot dog buns, like pieces of sandwich?
Yeah, like 2 full ones.
So not, you didn't take a hot dog bun, put cheese in, and eat it like a cheese dog.
No, I made it more like a sandwich. It was more flat.
But you used the 2 hot dog buns as tops and bottoms of bread.
Top and bottom bread for my grilled cheese sandwich.
At my lowest, when I was spending my money on other things in college, at my lowest, I've never eaten anything like that before. You have 2 pretty decent paying full-time jobs. Let's just run through the whole thing.
It wasn't really a financial consideration.
Was it a lazy consideration?
No, it was a time consideration. So I watched the game yesterday.
Right.
And it ended, around 12:45, whatever. And then I wanted to get some exercise in. So I went up, did my Peloton, showered. And then it was like 2 o'clock. And I've got to get going. I got to get in the car because I got to leave for Channel 10. I looked at the clock. I got like 2 or 3 minutes. So I don't have time to get out the pan, to heat it up with butter and everything and do the full grilled cheese. My intention was, I knew there was leftover pizza in the fridge. I was just going to heat up quickly a slice of pizza.
Eat a couple slices.
Yeah, and go. Just really fast. Like that whole process was going to take a minute.
Many personal trainers say, as soon as you're done with your workout, 2 of the best things you can have: cold pizza and in a pinch, hot dog grilled cheese.
Fine. I will accept that I don't have the healthiest of dining habits. So I pull out the pizza box intending to get a very quick lunch, and I open it up, and it's empty.
Why is it in the fridge?
Because one of the kids had eaten the last pieces of pizza and then put the empty box back into the fridge, which is absolutely hideous. I feel like I have triple failed as a parent. Like what? Why would you go to the extra step? Just leave it on the counter. Throw it on the floor. I would rather have you throw it on the floor in the middle of the living room so I know that it's trash at least, and I got to pick it up and toss it out into the garbage rather than put the empty pizza box back into the fridge where I am, of course, assuming there's still pizza in it.
I would have lost my mind, dude. I would have lost my mind. Which one was it? Which kid? You can call him out.
It was the younger one.
It was
this
Graham?
time. It's usually the older one. It's the younger one this
That
time.
little turd, dude. What are you doing?
Just, I mean, throw it outside. Throw it.
Sling it in the yard like a frisbee.
At least I know it's empty.
Smack me in the face with it. I don't care. Just don't put
So
it
at
back in
that
the
point,
fridge.
I look and I go, what can I make for lunch in less
Oh my
than
God.
3 minutes?
I would have. You know what I would have done? Honestly, I would have grabbed 2 pieces of cheese, folded them up, eaten them, and walked out the
It could
door.
have been a cheese sandwich kind of sort of thing. But
I just
thought,
would have eaten the cheese. I would have, you know what?
all
I'm
right,
just gonna eat
so
the cheese.
we had these, and then we had these King's Hawaiian hot dog buns that I had bought last
All
week.
right,
that
now
were,
that changes the
that
equation.
were probably
going
to
Why didn't you
expire in a
start
day or
with
two.
that?
Yeah, you should have started with
So I
that.
thought, oh, those are good. I don't want them to go to
No,
waste.
now
So
you've
what
ruined
can
the whole story because actually the
I
sandwich sounds
told
delicious.
you I had a reason.
It
for
sounds
all of
delicious.
This. It
You've
wasn't-
now ruined the entire. I saw.
Glad
it.
we didn't save it for a 35-minute segment at 8 o'clock.
No kidding.
man.
I watched you tweet that and I go,
It was still sad. It was sad and pathetic. I got it.
I
That's why I
worried. I was like,
realized.
oh,
it
man.
was sad and pathetic.
like I was like, I don't think he needs money. But like if I'm hungry at home, and I just started thinking, I go, I know exactly where he lives. I know that within a 45-second drive of that man's house,
I didn't have time for any of that.
there are 1,000 restaurants within a 45-second drive of where he lives.
I had a plan. It was leftover pizza.
Brilliant.
It's a great lunch when you have it, and I was thwarted by an empty pizza box in a fridge.
I failed to mention that back in the Odyssey Empire studio is our beloved Italian Paul. Good morning, Italian Paul.
Good morning.
His name's actually Frank, but when he runs the board and produces, basically he's Paul, so he's Italian. Frank Marchese, obviously, so we call him Italian Paul. Have I asked you before? Are you any relation to the Marchese crime family? Could you tell me if you were?
I cannot disclose. such
Okay, all right. I
information,
figured
I'm
as
sorry.
much. If there's a way to get me in, would you let me know? Will you text me privately? And I've always wanted to try it, just as a
He
probationary
does sell
member.
VCRs out of the back of a truck down.
I'm
at
a
the,
good
in the
earner.
parking lot, though. So.
Frankie, I'm a good earner. You
Yeah,
tell your
I
uncles
bet
or
you
whatever.
are.
I'm a
bet
good
you
earner.
are.
I am.
bet you are.
I'm a really good earner, which is really all that
I'll,
matters.
I'll run a thing or two up the flagpole.
Thank
We'll
you
see
very
what
much.
happens.
You'd be good for like a couple of months, and then you'd start complaining about how everything's being run, and
Yeah.
they just whack you because they wouldn't want
That's
to deal
true.
with you.
That's true. I often complain about how things are being run, mostly this program. That being said, Italian Paul, welcome, and it's good to have you here. I'm sorry about your Mets. We can talk about them at some point today, if only to make we Padre fans feel better.
Let's not do that.
We could always be the Mets. So
Spending more and getting less than the Padres.
yes.
That is hard to do right now. To spend more than the Padres and get less results
Yeah.
on the field than the Padres.
If
Yes.
that was the goal, the Mets would be
You guys,
the best in the world.
you guys would be literally the 27 Yankees if that was the goal. We can talk about that, Frank, today. I'm glad you're here. Now, I had heard originally it was going to be our boss Adam Klug on the board. What happened there? Did he get
I don't know. I texted him as soon as I got in the car to head down this morning. a
lights
couple
too
of
big for
things,
him, or
and he never responded. And then I actually had to run to the studio to grab a cable.
Right.
And when I walked into the studio, Italian Paul looked. He might have made a duty. Like he looked terrified. And he was like, "What the f are you doing here?" I'm like, "Relax. Forgot a cable."
But you got a girl in there, Italian Paul? What do you get so upset about? You just got scared?
No, it was those VCRs that Ben said that he was selling. Thank you very much.
No, he's
for
probably
reading
thinking,
that.
"Wait, if Paul is here, why the hell was I up
Why
so
am I
early?"
here? Oh, that's so good. Well, brother, thank you for joining us today. Thank you for helping us out back in the studio, Adam. Adam's not going to like some news I'm going to have for him today, just FYI, as usual. But that's fine. I don't know what his deal is, but he was supposed to be on the board. Now he's not. That's fine. We've got Italian Paul. We're going to do we'll do great today with Italian Paul at the controls.
We do want you all come out and join us here at AleSmith, Miramar Road. Just go past the pyramid if you're heading east and turn left on AleSmith Court, I think it's called. And right on down, the tasting room is always gorgeous here. I actually saw this week they took a gold medal in the World Beer Cup for their old ale. So congratulations to
Hell yeah.
AleSmith on a big win in one of the giant beer competitions. They're always putting out great craft brew here at AleSmith. Have been doing it for many years now. I mean, I've been going to AleSmith since probably almost 20 years now that I've been enjoying Ale Smith Brewing Company. So it's
such
good
a
to be here.
beautiful tasting room.
Oh yeah,
It's
this place
Yeah, it's
is
great.
great. It's got the
unbelievable.
Tony Gwynn Museum here. You can check that out while you're here today with us, and yeah, come early. You can say hi to us because obviously it's very early in the morning.
It
and
is.
We've only got Tree Rat here at the moment.
Well,
so.
we like to say that we could put asses in the seats, and now we have just ass in the seats.
Yeah,
Just
come on, everybody, make some noise, everybody. Yeah.
Wow, actually, it doesn't sound too bad.
There's
but
30 people here.
Power of radio.
I was listening after the game yesterday. There's a lot of Padres fans who are angry right now, and we understand that, and that's okay.
Boy.
I think it's an understandable emotion. The skipper was not happy with
Yeah.
the team. We'll hear what Bob Melvin had to say. We'll break it down ourselves, put our spin on it, get all of our regular features on a Friday. Daily Ditties coming up next. Paulie's theme this week, Mother's Day. Songs dedicated or chosen by our mothers. I'll get to that coming up next. We'll get started with a check of traffic right here on 97.3 The Fan.
when makes me want to die. Happy Mother's Day, Mom.
You have a real love-hate relationship with country music because good country music you
Yeah.
really love.
I love it.
Other country music, maybe
Whoa.
modern country
What are we doing
music,
Yeah, new country.
you're not really a fan of.
Correct. You know that. Yeah, there's some pretty bad stuff out there.
I
but
like that. I like that
Alan
stuff.
Jackson's is incredible. I love that 90s, like the Garth Brooks and Alan Jackson, and
90s to like, I don't know, maybe like 2000.
I mean, I like the
2001,
70s through
Oh.
the 90s is pretty great, and then after that, it gets pretty bad. It's a very sweet and touching.
No,
song.
that was directly from Julie, my mom, who's I think watching on YouTube right now. But
Julie.
hi, Mom, happy Mother's Day. And yeah, I texted her, said, hey, give me a couple of songs that you like.
Yeah.
And the first two, I think we'd already picked
Yep.
on the daily date. I said, that's not going to work. Come on, I thought you were tier one.
Yeah,
And
come
then,
on, Mom.
she picked another artist who is problematic, to say the least. So
Hold
I
on, let me
said,
guess. Gary Glitter.
no, country music.
Oh, country music. Morgan Wallen.
Yeah. I said, no, I can't do that,
Julie,
Mom.
come on.
Can't do that. And she goes, what? I had no idea. Oh my God. What? He said, what? So she said, how about Alan Jackson, Remember When? I said, that
Done.
is perfect. So it's a
Remember when?
terribly sad song.
Very
It's
sad.
beautiful.
Yep.
It's a very, very good song.
Yeah, it can pull at the old heartstrings from time to time. That's for sure.
Very sweet.
Very sweet.
Mother's Day weekend this weekend, and happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. My mother, my wife, mother of my children, your moms of obviously.
Yep.
Hannah and Carol Woods, mother of your children.
Oh, it's a big one in my house. Mother's Day weekend is
You guys are holiday people. I mean,
she is
Well,
very
that's true.
holiday-ish.
which makes you a holiday person.
by default, de facto holiday
By
by association. Yeah, it starts today, so she's got a day with her girlfriends, and they're going to be doing the spa thing. Great, that's fine. I got, you know what that means? Got the whole house to myself all afternoon
Until you have to pick up the kids.
until I have to pick up the kids. Yes, and then we will settle in, watch a game tonight as a family, and tomorrow we've got plans. We got T-ball game, and then some Mother's Day stuff, and then Sunday is obviously Mother's Day, and we'll do a brunch or something of that nature, and then just spend the weekend as a family. So that's really what we're gonna do. It is interesting though, because Father's Day is in my house is Father's morning is what you do. You get the morning, you go play your golf, be home by noon, and then you're right back on the grind.
And then we're on.
And then it's back on.
Back to real life.
Yeah,
I know.
so
I get that.
enjoy your golf, and then from there,
Brunch is always such a big thing on Mother's Day.
Yeah.
Dads love brunch.
Do
I mean,
they?
Probably more than moms do sometimes, I would think.
I like breakfast a lot.
breakfast
Yeah.
is definitely good. Maybe we make Father's Day more of the breakfast and Mother's Day as a brunch.
Yeah, I really enjoy Father's Day. It's a great holiday. But yeah, happy Mother's Day to my mama. Love you so much, Marsha Woods, and of course my wife Hannah. Love you as well.
Friar Friday's kind of like a holiday every single week.
Not really, not
really,
even close.
but we do have a Friar Friday here. Feel like we've got a good guest for what's going on in the world of Padres baseball. We're just going to talk to Scan,
Oh,
who's
thank
been
God.
he's been on the road with the
Thank
team.
God.
He's going to join us at 8:35 this morning to give us his level-headed, rational, both ex-ball player but also current, team analyst perspective of what's going on with this 19-19 start with the San Diego Padres. Someone who was there on the team plane, after
Yeah.
Bob Melvin. I mean, I doubt he was in the clubhouse with whatever Bob Melvin said yesterday, but he's certainly been hearing all the scoop and skinny from everybody with what's going on with this team. So I think he's going to be a very good guest for us here on a Friar Friday at 8:35. So we'll hear from Scan, who I assume is up with the team in Los Angeles now, getting ready for the start of the 3-game series against the Dodgers.
Well, I really obviously always appreciate his insight. Scan is a really positive guy. I've tried to do a little bit more positivity lately, and it's backfired in my face. So I'm a bit wayward right now.
He's positive, but he's not. He's also a realistic person who played baseball, and he knows.
Yeah.
He knows right from wrong. He knows good from bad. I don't think he's going to sugarcoat it necessarily. He'll give us an honest feeling. I mean, there are positives still with this baseball team. There's no doubt about it. There are a lot of positives right now with the San Diego Padres. They're just not coming together in the form of a lot of victories at the moment. And I think that's one of the things we're going to talk about.
That's what's so frustrating.
Yeah, of course. That's what makes it, triply frustrating is you see Juan Soto starting to just mash the ball. Fernando Tatis Jr. is back and providing his energy and hitting leadoff home runs. Manny's starting to swing it better. The starting pitching has been great. And you look at all those things and you go, I mean, just that alone should be a team that's winning a ton of baseball games. When you got just what I just described to you,
Yeah,
you shouldn't need much else to win baseball games. So why aren't they winning baseball games is the question, and we'll be talking about it. We'll ask Scan about it, and it'll be the topic of the day, I am sure, here on this radio station.
Yeah, and I saw a lot of clips come out from Bob Melvin. Purposefully avoided them yesterday because I want to react in real time. I feel like that's better for me to do. I did not watch him. I have no idea what he said.
Interesting. Okay.
All I know is that he was.
I watched it like 5 times.
I've seen it. Yeah, I was cutting him up for Channel 10. I've heard him 30 times.
But
I'm glad
I know,
you'll have fresh ears on this.
I want fresh ears on it, and also 12 hours has passed or whatever. 15 hours has passed. I want to see how you guys feel about it today and if you feel the same. So let's talk about it.
We're live at AleSmith Brewing Company, Miramar. Come on down, join us. We've got coffee right now, but they're also going to be pouring $5 $3.94 pale ales, which is an amazing Friday deal. I mean, you should be coming down here just for that. Even if you don't want to see us, you can stand on the other side of the room
and just drink beer,
and you should be here anyway on a Friday. So we'll see you out here. We're going to be broadcasting live all day right into a viewing party for the game tonight from Dodger Stadium. They're going to put it up on the TVs with all the audio here in the tasting room. It's going to be absolutely great, especially if the Padres start turning things around and winning tonight. Also, you could win a trip to see Guns N' Roses at a U.S. stop of your choice on their 2023 World Tour, including round-trip airfare, hotel tickets, and a $200 gift card. Just go to 973thefansd.com/GNR to enter for a chance to win in our national contest. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com. All right, we'll come back. We'll play our Padres wrap-up, get the calls of yesterday's game against Twins, and then we'll play the Bob Melvin audio and get your instant reaction. First time hearing it. Probably one of the few Padres fans left in San Diego who hasn't heard what Bob Melvin had to say after the game yesterday. That is coming up next with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Carlsbad Fan Hotline. Save money the right way with Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad. Visit them today in the Carlsbad Auto Mall. Chevrolet, find new roads. So my co-host still has not heard the audio from Bob Melvin.
Avoided it like the plague.
We are going to get to that here after our Padres wrap-up of yesterday's 5-3 loss, a game in which the Padres had the lead 3 separate times and still lost the game. You don't see that from the San Diego Padres very often, and it certainly, at the very least, irritated the manager, Bob Melvin.
Yeah, he's not a super fiery guy. I mean, you could see in his ejection even, they had the hot mic on him, the ejection, and it was phenomenal. I mean, it again, he didn't MF the guy to death. He didn't berate him. He told him
he was actually very polite.
He was like a loud polite,
like angry but polite.
But it meant more to me than the kicking of the dirt. He just basically told the guy, "You've missed that pitch all day. Bear down, call a better game, and let's go."
I think it was less about his frustration with the strike zone, which is, in my mind, not really any better or worse than most games.
Typical.
I thought it was a message to his own team of accountability.
100%.
You know what? I'm talking accountability with the umpire, but hint, I want to make sure everyone hears that accountability message right now.
Get out there and bear down. Play
and
better.
It's important enough that I'm going to go ahead and take an ejection here to get that message across of accountability. So we're going to talk about all of it right after our Padres wrap up. We'll hear that after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the Premier Cadillac of Carlsbad Traffic Center, part of the Premier Auto family, here's Kelly Danek.
Traffic is sponsored by Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad. We'll start to heat up on the roads a bit. Northbound side of the 805 before University, there's a collision involving a couple vehicles. They are over to the right shoulder. Up ahead near Murray Ridge, we have reports of a stalled vehicle not showing if lanes are blocked. The Big O Tires Clear Ride, westbound King Freeway from Lemon Grove into downtown. Coach Quintero and Joe Musgrove's choice. They're a different kind of dealership looking to be a solid community partner and deliver excellent service. Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad. Chevrolet, find new roads. I'm Kelly Danek with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
It's a shame if they lose.
You can visit Pity City, but you can't live there.
Did you miss any of the Padres game yesterday?
Oh, it's been a great day today. Can't wait for more.
Oh, God, here we go. Jesus Christ.
Cancel the parade. That's why you play the games.
It's the Padres wrap-up with Ben and Woods.
Slam Diego? More like fail Diego.
Presented by Hamul Casino. With thrilling slots and tables and all the best rewards, Hamul Casino has all the fun you're looking for. Hamul Casino, fun above all else. On 97.3 The Fan.
I just felt the way that the roster is built, they would have to outscore their opponents to win.
Bailey Ober, first pitch swinging, driven down the left field line, and it is gone. One pitch, and the Padres have a 1-0 lead on the 5th home run of the season for Fernando Tatis Jr. Count now 0-2. On's back in the left-hand batter's box. The pitch to him. Ground ball right back off the middle. Karam's Ober. It's going to go into left field for a base hit. Manny Machado is going to score. Juan Soto's heading for 2. He's got a double, and the Padres have a 2-1 lead. Swung on, driven. Well hit to left field. Going back is Juan Soto. He's going to go look up, but this one is up in the second deck, and we have a tie ball game on the 2-out home run for Kyle Farmer. Next pitch to him, swinging, driven down the right field line, pretty well hit. This ball is going to be gone. It's a home run. First home run as a Padre for Rougned Odor, and it gives the Padres a 3-2 lead. Again, a long hold, now the pitch, hot shot, third base line. It is fair down the left field line. Could be extra bases. Jeffers is going to score. They're going to send the pinch runner Taylor. He's going to score. And all of a sudden, it is a 5-3 Twins lead, a 2-run double by Carlos Correa. The 1-2 pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. Got him. And the Twins win the finale by a score of 5-3 and take the series 2-1 from the Padres.
We got to perform better. That's what we have to do. So, yeah, we hit some balls hard today, but we put way too much pressure on our pitching late in the game, and we have guys that can perform better. And we're going to, but it's time to quit just talking about it. It's time to go out there and do it. So, another frustrating game for us, underperformed.
Woo,
That was a little
mamacita.
taste. That was the beginning. That was his first comment after the loss yesterday.
It's one of my favorite types of comments is don't talk about it, be about it. You're going to bark all day, little dog, you're going to bite. I do love it, and it stings. Oh, it stings when somebody says it to you because you know it to be true. And, you know, we're as guilty as the next guy. I'm not going to speak for you guys. I'm as guilty as the next guy of saying they're going to turn it around. They're going to get going. Look, I'm not going to get on here and rant just for the sake of ranting. If I was pissed off, like really, really pissed off, you'd know it, right? You guys have known me long enough to know that I'm not going to BS my way through it. If I'm mad, I'm mad. If I'm calm, I'm calm.
You are far from an apologist, my friend.
Well, yeah. And so I'm not. I feel about how Bob Melvin feels right now. I'm not of the time to turn over the table and clean house. This is not how I operate. You know, when things go bad, I don't want to be knee-jerk and can Bob Melvin or can Ryan Flaherty, and AJ Preller packing. These are all takes I saw yesterday.
Let's hit a couple of the details from yesterday's game, and then we'll play the full 2.5 minutes of Bob Melvin, and you can hear you can kind of hear his growing irritation and frustration.
Does it rise?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay, I like that.
It does a little bit.
The peak.
So it should be like illegal for Fernando Tatis Jr. to hit a leadoff home run on the first pitch and the Padres to lose the game. I mean, it feels like the game's over on the first pitch when Tatis goes deep. To me, it's almost a crime that they let one like that get away when you had such a good start.
You had that cat on the ropes, and it's the lack of killer instinct I think that Bob was talking about, even in that short little clip that I heard.
But again, yesterday's game featured many of the same themes we've been talking about. Padres did get one hit with a runner in scoring position. However, had Juan Soto's ball not hit the pitcher up the middle, it would have been a ground ball out, and they would have had no hits with runners in scoring position.
Yeah.
Again, only because it hit off the pitcher's leg
Yeah.
did the Padres avoid another offer with runners in scoring position. They have dropped to 203 in that category, dead last in all of baseball with runners in scoring position. It is by far the biggest issue for this team. Yu Darvish was very good. I was shocked that he didn't go back out for the 7th inning after just 80 pitches. I thought he might go 7 or 8 the way he was cruising and looking good, but just had a little bit of a triceps
scared me
tightness
to death, man.
that, he saw him before the 6th inning. They went out,
shook his hand.
Once he threw 3, went a 1-2-3 inning though. I figured, he's good to go. We'll see him another inning or two. But Bob Melvin decided caution over, potentially risking one of his starting pitchers early in the season. And ultimately it came back to bite him when Brent Honeywell and Steven Wilson, but mostly Brent Honeywell, couldn't get through that 7th inning. Now, could have gotten out of it without allowing a run had Rougned Odor turned that double play. That throw had been a little bit lower. The inning is over. Padres still have that 3-2 lead going to the 8th.
Do you think the low throw gets him?
Yeah, I think a lower throw would have beat the runner and would have been in time.
So I watched that play a couple times.
Jump throw. It was very stylish looking.
I saw many people saying Xander should have taken that himself. It's Max Kepler coming down the line. You're not going to get Max Kepler if you take it yourself.
I didn't realize Kepler was as fast as he was. I thought it was hit so hard. I thought, this is an easy double play.
Yeah, I in my opinion.
He was getting down there, but I thought he would have had him by a half step had the throw not pulled Jake off the bag.
Throw,
it was.
I wasn't really upset about it.
They said Mud said on the broadcast too. I think he had to make that play. I thought the feed was actually from Xander a little bit high, whatever. But hey, listen, man, you're splitting hairs here.
No, I'm not saying
jumping.
I'm not saying it should
throw.
have been done, but I'm saying the Padres could have won the game. That that hair is different. A foot lower on a throw, and again, the narrative is completely different. Bob Melvin maybe doesn't go off on his team.
Yeah,
we're having a completely different show this morning based on one throw that goes a foot too high.
Yeah, I agree. I just it's a play. Tried to make a play. Jake had to come off the bag. So listen, if Jake's a foot taller, probably gets him, like you said, by a half step. But
you had some bad at bats as well.
Terrible.
Trent Grisham continuing to struggle, striking out with the bases loaded in the 8th inning. I don't understand Trent Grisham. I mean, Gold Glover looks great out in the field, is absolutely killing it out there. Looks like a hitter when he gets into the plate. I love how he commands the pitch clock, and looks like he looks like somebody you don't want to face when he steps in there.
Yeah,
and then he goes and he takes good. Looks like he takes good hats.
Yep.
and the bat just goes right through the ball every time. I'm going, yeah, that's a good swing. It's another swing and a miss from Trent Grisham. What is going on with that guy? I can't figure out Trent Grisham.
You know, and I think there was a thread going last night that was pretty interesting, and it was more observational than ripping Trent. But it was, hey man, their bases are loaded. Now the guy had hit a guy and walked a guy. Okay, Trent Grisham comes up, and it's the guy that was on the bump. I think they said topped out at 97 miles an hour. But what does he do first pitch? Doesn't throw the 97 mile an hour heater, throws the 93 mile an hour cutter. Really nice pitch, but caught a lot late. You know, people are saying, well, he needed to be more aggressive there. All right, fine. Hindsight being 20/20. Yeah, you know, if you know he's throwing a cutter, be aggressive, pound that pitch. If he gets in front of that, thinking it's a heater, rolls it over, aren't we all saying, why the F are you swinging after you just hit a guy and walked a guy, Trent? There is no way to win unless you win. That's the only way to do it. That's the only way to do it. Can we be more aggressive first and second pitch? Absolutely. Can this team hunt more fastballs? Absolutely. That's exactly what they're trying to do. It's just not pulling the trigger.
Ultimately, the best offensive teams are the ones that work counts, that see the most pitches.
And strangely enough,
worst teams are the ones
used to think that, right?
It is true.
It's not. They did a special yesterday talking about the Rays, who are hunting first and second pitches.
They are, but you know, teams like the Dodgers, teams that have had success, work opposing pitchers. They work pitch counts, get them higher. Teams that don't see a lot of pitches, like the Rockies and the Royals, are at the bottom of the bottom of the list right now. Of teams that don't see a lot of pitchers, like Royals, Rockies. I mean, they tend to be the worst teams. The better teams tend to be the ones that work counts, see more pitches.
I mean, it's clearly not translating to wins for this club. So I think it's also hitter dependent, right? I don't mind Juan Soto working.
That's a good
count.
point.
I
Yeah,
don't mind Juan
that's
Soto
true.
working a count at all. I mean, like, look at Tatis. As good as he's been, they kind of joked about it on the broadcast yesterday. They're like, he's only walked 4 times since he's been back. And Don goes, kind of hard to walk when you're hacking at the first pitch every time. I mean, that's it in a nutshell. So are they too aggressive? Are they too patient? Which one is it?
Let's play the audio. Let's play this entire clip, and we'll have a minute or two to react it on the other end, and then we'll talk about it at the top of the hour as well. But Woods has not heard the Bob Melvin audio, so I'm going to be watching you carefully as you hear what he had to say post-game yesterday. This is the entire 2.5 minutes of Bob Melvin's back and forth with reporters after the game.
Probably with more opportunities and more missed opportunities. It seemed like some of the contact was a little better in those spots, but what's it going to take to get those to start catching in there?
We got to perform better. That's what we have to do. So, yeah, we hit some balls hard today, but we put way too much pressure on our pitching late in the game, and we have guys that can perform better. And we're going to, but it's time to quit just talking about it. It's time to go out there and do it. So another frustrating game for us, underperformed.
How does that happen? How to go out and perform better? Like, is it just a matter of literally doing it, like you just said?
You just got to fight a little harder and expect a little bit more of ourselves, all of us, myself included. So we have not done that to this point. These stretches happen, but it's going on too long. We got to break through here at some point.
Doesn't seem like you would say that to us without having said that to them. Is this?
I don't talk about that, so they know how I feel.
Oh boy.
Do you think it's been that there's just a little too much confidence based on who they are that they're going to turn it around?
I don't think so for a minute. I just don't think there's enough tenacity throughout the course of the game. We show signs of it. We show spurts of it. We come out like we should, and then we don't sustain it for the entire game. That's the problem.
Okay.
Angle, I know that he's got the speed. It's the tying run. Anything to do with Soto's toe?
You know what? I wasn't out there at that point in time.
Darvish. First of all, what did you think of Darvish today? And was the 7th inning at least at all related to whatever was going on?
You know what? It might be a tiny bit of tightness, but I was not going to let him go out there for the 7th inning if, he was feeling anything. So he's okay. He wanted to go out there. He'll be fine for his next start. I just didn't want him to have to go out there and pitch the 7th inning if I didn't think he was 100%.
Tightness in what capacity? What was
he was just shaking his arm a little bit out there, and I didn't feel comfortable sending him out.
The inconsistency of the strike zone was something that you seem to have issue with all day.
I did, but you know what? You got to fight through those things too. So we did. It wasn't a great strike zone, and we did. We had some good at bats. Manny had some great at bats, but it's a result oriented game. And we're not seeing those right now.
For the series this weekend, is the urgency ratcheted up a little bit considering?
It shouldn't ratchet up. I mean, we should play the same game all the time. Obviously, there's a little bit more when we play the Dodgers because what happened last year and all that stuff, but we should play the same game every day.
Man, okay. That's about as heated as you'll get from Bob. And you got to imagine.
Now, he had a bit of a scowl on his face while
Yeah,
this
he
is
was-
happening.
he was-
He's rocking. He's looking agitated as well during this entire 2.5-minute sequence.
For sure. And but again, he reading between the lines. Yeah, and we know because we heard from comments from players, he did tell that to the guys. I don't know how. Listen, people are going to have their own opinions. I love the guy. I think he's the right guy for the job, and I think he picks his moments. And I think he picked a moment yesterday, and we'll see how they respond.
There was, I think, one word in that entire audio clip.
Oh yeah,
that speaks volumes, though.
Easy tenacity.
Yeah,
easily.
I want to talk about that when we come back. We'll play a little Take on Woods as well
Yeah,
if you
let's do
want.
it.
A chance to qualify for a trip to Las Vegas. We are live at AleSmith on a Friday morning, and it's Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The
We show signs of it. We show spurts of it. We come out like we should, and then we don't sustain it for the entire game. That's the problem.
That's the problem, Woods. Tenacity, lack thereof for the San Diego Padres. Welcome back. Live from AleSmith on a Friday morning. It is Ben and Woods. We're going to be out here all day. 97.3 The Fan, broadcasting live. We got $3.94 pale ales for $5 right now. We got some coffee brewing. There's going to be a food truck here a little bit later. Stop on by, say hello to all the hosts, and then watch the game. Padres and Dodgers here from the beautiful AleSmith tasting room off Miramar Road. Looking forward to seeing you out here. Now we're starting to get a trickle, a stream in here this morning. It's early,
buddy.
But we're glad to see everybody out here. So, yeah, tenacity is that word that for me, as a radio and television media member, I don't feel necessarily qualified to call out a lack of effort or intensity by a baseball team. I'm not in that clubhouse. I don't see what work is going on behind the scenes or not going on behind the scenes. So I feel like if you just throw out accusations, this team's not putting in the effort, this team's not trying hard enough, you're just speaking out of your rear end. You don't know. You're not in there. You can look at the results and say,
the results are
well,
crap.
I mean, the results aren't good, obviously, but I don't know the cause of it. But when the manager says that, when the manager uses that word and calls out his own team for a lack of tenacity, what does that mean to you, Woods? Tenacity.
It means grinding out ABs. It means
that's an effort word, right?
It's an effort word.
It's mental effort sometimes.
Yeah, it's mental effort.
It doesn't mean they're not putting in the work in the batting cages. It doesn't mean they're not.
Well, it may mean
care. It doesn't mean they don't care.
It may mean do a little extra. Whatever you're doing, do a little extra. I think is a good way to put it. I think, look, it's a long season.
Tenacity to me feels like in the same vein of like killer instinct.
Being tenacious, it's hard, man. It's hard in that sport. If you're a pitcher, you can be a tenacious pitcher. If you're a hitter, there are tenacious hitters. Nick Castellanos, great example. We talked about it the other day when we had Jake on from Cespedes Family Barbecue. Jake said to him, "Why do you swing so much? Why do you swing so much?" He goes, "It's my mentality. I'm ready to hit. I'm always ready to hit. I'm ready from the first pitch, and if I like it, I'm swinging." That to me is tenacity. Again, there are certain guys on this team. I'm absolutely fine going out and grinding an AB out. Grind one out, Juan. Juan's got a great eye, and he went 0-2, drew a walk yesterday. Like, fine, great. I don't need Trent Grisham to be Juan Soto. I don't need him to be selective. I need him to be aggressive. I need Ha-Seong Kim to be aggressive. I need Austin Nola to be aggressive. Those are the guys. Hey, man, get up there, hack, try to get a guy over, whatever. Grind a little bit harder. Grind a little bit harder. It's hard because that season is so long. Run a little bit harder. Take an extra bag. Press the issue a little bit. Be a little bit more tenacious. That's kind of what I get from it.
The definition of tenacious, not easily pulled apart or persistent in maintaining, adhering to, or seeking something valued or desired.
Yeah, problem is, too, sticking to what's not working is a big thing in baseball. And they always talk about, well, listen, my routine's good. I feel good. My BP's good, so I must be fine. I must be fine. I just got to stick to the process. Every big leaguer we've ever talked to is a firm believer in process. And, hey, man, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. That's the only way to live.
Yeah,
by the way,
changing every single day what you're doing is never going to work in baseball.
I'm telling you, it just does not work. And so
I went 0-4 today.
I got to switch it up.
I'm changing my stance. That will never work.
Cal Ripken did it, but that's Cal Ripken. Cal Ripken would give you in 4 ABs 4 different stances, toe tap, leg kick. He's one of the exceptions. Xander Bogaerts is one that tinkers. He'll tinker in game. You'll see him. I mean, he had the pretzel sheath on his bat the other day. He did a toe tap earlier. Then he's back to the leg lift. He's a tinkerer. Whatever he's doing ain't working right now either. So I don't know, man. Like, I think my overarching feeling about this team, is they're very mediocre right now. You can't look at that record and say anything but. 19-19 is the definition. Paul, you want to look up definitions? Look up mediocre. That's what they are. At least that's what their record is. That being said, they're a hit away in every single game. 1 hit away. Not 9-2, not lack of effort, not kicking the ball around. 1 hit away.
I think that's fair. I mean, we remember what the end of 2021 looked like.
That was awful.
Non-competitive.
Non-competitive. They're competing. They're competing.
Games that were over in the third inning.
100%.
And you knew it. You knew it.
How many times did I tweet the GIF in the 2020? Somebody should go back and look at 2021. Remember the GIF of the guy that turns off the TV and dives into bed and pulls the covers up over his head? I must have tweeted it 40 times in the second half. That's not this. That's not this. And you're going to come at me and call me an apologist and all the things you've been calling me all week. I don't give an F. They're a hit away every single game.
But I think you're allowed as a fan to be angry, because if the manager is clearly angry,
You're
certainly
as a fan
you're
are
certainly
always
justified.
allowed.
And we made a little executive decision. I want to open the phone lines 833-288-0973. I heard tons of calls yesterday from Padres fans. I want to take some here. That means we're going to push back Take on Woods, because we only got one set of phone lines.
Boot it.
We may actually do an in-person Take on Woods later this morning, like in the 9 o'clock hour, if you want to come down and be our contestant here at AleSmith. I'd love that. So we're going to push that back. We're going to open the phone lines. Call in, because I heard a ton of calls yesterday as I was driving in after the game, post-game, the Win and Chris show. And, boy, Padres fans were upset, and they all had different theories. They all had different ideas. But I heard very little specifics in terms of, like, which player do you blame for all of this?
Right.
It's easy to say, well, Austin Nola is the problem here. Clearly, the Padres are not getting much out of the catching position. But if you're getting stuff out of everyone else and the pitching's doing fine,
We're not, though. I think we're through 38 games. It looks to me like this may be a depth issue, and we may be a top-heavy team. Now, I will ride with those the top four, all day long, every day of the week. But, man, after that, it gets a little dicey. You're not getting a whole lot from Carpenter. You're not getting a whole lot from Cruz. Cronenworth's struggling. Kim's struggling. Nola's struggling. You get nothing from the catcher position.
5 outs.
So, okay, throw out those names, though, and which ones do look like lost causes?
Throw out those names. That's half the lineup.
No, I mean, you're throwing out those names, and I agree with you. Trent Grisham, we talked about his offensive struggles. He's still playing Gold Glove.
Sure.
Absolutely stellar defense. As is Ha-Seong Kim. He leads he leads Major League Baseball, I believe, in defensive runs saved out at second base.
So there's contributions.
I don't know that you want to get rid of either of those guys in your lineup. With you want to see more offensively from both of them, but they're not worthless ball players. What they've been doing for you.
I don't have any gripes with the defense.
Matt Carpenter's been struggling offensive. He leads the team in RBI. I mean, the one thing that you need the most, he's giving you the most.
Being the smartest guy in a room of morons doesn't make you a Mensa member, right? Like, he's leading. That's a sad state of affairs if he's leading this team in RBI right now. And again, and I saw a lot yesterday blaming the bullpen and everything else. Look, I saw Brent Honeywell shouldn't be a high leverage reliever. Here's the problem: who's not a high leverage reliever in every game? Every single time we go to the bullpen, it's a high leverage situation. Every time.
There has been
one or down one.
That's it. Every single time.
There's been no mop up this year for
No,
the Padres.
no mop up.
We're down.
None.
We're down 6 in the 5th inning. Let's throw in our mop up guy. It hasn't
It
happened.
just doesn't. If we're up 6 or down 6, it doesn't happen. Every single inning for these guys is high stress, high leverage, because the offense has been the problem. That's what's been the overarching problem of this team.
And that's what we heard Bob Melvin say, that the offense is putting too much pressure on the pitching staff, having to pitch with a 1-run lead or a 1-run deficit,
runner on
or
second,
a tie
the last
game
inning,
all the time, that they need to add on when they're scoring runs. Scoring 1 run 3 times in a game is not going to do it. The Padres have had fewer 3-run innings, I think I saw, than any other team in baseball. Are you telling me that a lineup that features Fernando Tatis Jr., Juan Soto, Manny Machado, and Xander Bogaerts in some sort of order, they should have a 3-run inning every game at some point, you would think. They should have at least one at some point every single game. I thought that it was going to flow like a fire hose, big innings for this team. So the fact that they are the worst team when it comes to big innings is shocking to me at this point.
Which is
through
what
38 games.
which again, nobody wants to hear this, which is why I think it will even out. I think it will flip. I do. And I firmly believe it. I'm not going to sit in here and fake outrage. I feel like it's going to flip. It has to. We have the lowest BABIP in baseball, by the way. That's a positive sign.
That's true.
You don't want to have the highest BABIP. We have the lowest in
Those
baseball.
always regress toward the middle.
It's going to come back towards the middle.
I mean,
So-
Padres clearly have not been the luckiest team in baseball.
Oh my God!
either, but
I would go as far to say they've been the unluckiest team in baseball as far as the games that I've seen. Again, I just they're a swing away every game, and I don't want to sit here and say, well, that's really all you can ask for, because it's not. You got to win some of those. They're not doing it.
Let's get some of these phone calls on the line. Frank's got full boards back there at the studio. Let's go to Matt in Santee. You're first up this morning with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan. Matt, what are you seeing out there? Good morning.
Hey, what I see is this team doesn't have killer. They can't put teams away.
Yeah.
They have
Yes.
chances to put teams away, and they can't do it.
Yes.
And then 6 through 9 in the lineup.
Yep.
I look at that. I'm watching the game, and it's like I have no confidence they can get a runner in from third.
Yeah.
Or they can, bases loaded. They can't get that base hit, the hit they need. And then you get to Nola, the catcher, and it's like you have no offense. He's not throwing guys out that often. Why not go get a guy that can hit the ball and give up a little defense? We're not, the league isn't throwing people out right now with the way they're running. So I have no confidence 6 through 9.
Matty, I'll tell you, the 6 through 9, when they come up, that's a good time to walk down to the mailbox and grab the mail. And it sounds crappy to say, but that's when we come up 6 through 9, that is, let me get the kids in the bath. Let me get them in their PJ. I mean, no BS. That is my window at night of saying, let me get some stuff done so I can see Toddy hit and Soto hit and Manny hit. That's really what I've been doing.
I'll go back to what I said, and Matt, thanks for the call earlier this week. Padres don't need 6 through 9 to be 300 hitting guys.
They don't.
with 20 home runs. They need them to be just flat average, boring baseball players, 245, occasionally hitting a home run, nothing special. Like the replacement player offense is all you're looking for. Yeah, throw them out there. You dime a dozen baseball players on offense, but right now they're all well below where they need to be.
Big time.
There's a lot of room for improvement in the bottom of that order. None of them have to be stars. I would take 250 from Trent Grisham in a heartbeat. I would take 200 from Austin Nola right now in a heartbeat. And if they did those two things right there, increasing those two guys' averages by 30, 40 points just to get them close to below average would actually do a ton for the San Diego Padres right now.
Yeah, it's look, and we was talking to somebody about it last night online, and I said, hey man, you have every right to be concerned. You have every right to be angry. You can't get back those 19 games you lost. You can't. They're gone. They are gone in the wind. All we can do, guys, you got 124 left. Are there really people that don't feel that there's enough time to turn it around? And just think about it for
obviously,
let's break it
there's
down.
Plenty of time.
Think about this.
You look at half of the World Series winners the last few years got off to poor starts.
But listen, they're going to play 100 games. 100. Then they're going to play 24 more after that. So 100 more nights of watching this team, watching them try to win, and then they got 24 more games on top of that. People are really ready to throw in the towel and call this a wash. It is what it is. They are who they are. You got 124 games. Now, if we're in August and we're in September and we're having this conversation, you're right. You're right. I'm wrong. But you have time to figure it out.
So it's telling that Bob Melvin waited until September 15th last year to really kind of light into his team.
As far as we know.
And as far as we know.
As far as we know.
But does it in the middle of May?
That was a frustrating one yesterday. Again, blowing leads and things like that. That stuff will drive you crazy.
Let's go to Tavo up in Oceanside. You're next up here with Ben and Woods. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Hey, buddy.
Can y'all hear me?
Lost you.
Awesome. Yeah, so my apologies, I'm on Camp Pendleton. What I'm thinking is I'm agreeing with Woods on here and saying that we're so close. I think it's just one thing that needs to be unlocked. One thing that I was thinking was maybe, moving Tatis a little bit down in the hitting order,
Yeah.
probably putting him in like the 3 or 4 spot because he's consistently getting hit. And so if we can get Juan Soto to get walked, get on first base, and then we can probably get Tatis to get a hit and be able to drive that run in. That starting homer for him was amazing.
was
but
great.
I'm wondering if we could probably get 2.
Well, listen,
You know what I mean?
the only
That's-
thing
that's kind of where I'm at.
and listen, at this point, like, why not give it a shot? But the only thing I would say to that is Juan Soto in the 4-hole has been a revelation. I mean, Sammy Levitt tweeted out yesterday. What was he in that series, by the way? 8 for 11, 7 for 10 with.
He hit almost every ball.
He hit almost every ball on Cruz except for one that I can remember. Him in the 4-hole, I'm like, I can't move him now. I don't know. Maybe Xander in the leadoff spot to get some better pitches to hit. Then Tatis. Then man, you know what I'm saying? Like, but I couldn't, in good conscience, if I'm Bob Melvin, I can't move Juan Soto out of the spot where he is just dropping D on everyone right now. Like, he's unbelievable right now.
I mean, Tatis isn't necessarily your prototypical leadoff hitter. He doesn't have the patience at the plate to get other guys a look at the pitcher, take a bunch of pitches. He likes to swing quickly. When he gets on base, I love him out there as a leadoff guy, creating havoc on the base paths,
of course,
distracting everybody with his ability to take extra bases.
But again, you got to remember,
that's fun.
He's only had 2 weeks of at bats, so I think he's going to get better as the season progresses.
I kind of like the lineup the way Bob Melvin's constructed it the last couple of days with one glaring need. Jake Cronenworth has to be better.
Yeah,
offensively.
he does.
If there's one guy who's kind of been disappointing to me, I know Jake has more in him.
Oh, no question.
I don't know that Trent Grisham's ever going to figure it out again.
Right.
I mean, he's been slumped. I don't know that Austin Nola is going to be great offensively at any point. I know Jake Cronenworth has more in him, though, than
no question.
215, 220 hitting guy.
No question.
I would love for him to be a 2-hitter that goes up there and hits 280 and with a little bit of pop and, gets out there and does what he can do.
And
that's the guy. I mean, he's played great first base. He's adjusted to a lot of things the Padres have thrown at him.
He's another guy.
But he needs to do more.
He's another guy that I do, just from watching his ABs, I do feel like he's also a tick away from busting out. I do. Hit a ball hard. I do feel like I feel like there's a few guys that are right there. So I don't know, man. I'm not panicked. I'm just not. With 124 games to go, I'm not panicked. You're not going to make me panic right now.
You can win the Ultimate Vegas weekend by heading to 973thefansd.com/Vegas and signing up for your chance to win a weekend getaway at Circa Resort and Casino Las Vegas, including 2 nights in a sunset suite, a cabana at Stadium Swim, and tons more. We're going to get a couple, don't do this headlines, but everyone who's on the phone line, stay there because we can take more calls here this hour. So just be a little bit patient. I love hearing from these Padres fans. We'll get to more of it coming up as we continue live from AleSmith Brewing on a Friday morning. Padres fans, good to see you this morning on San Diego's #1 sports station. Let's get a check of traffic. Be right back here on 97.3 The Fan.
The Fan.
Don't forget, you can get live coverage of every Padres game on 97.3 The Fan, available through the Odyssey app wherever you are in the San Diego area, like here at the AleSmith Tasting Room. You can listen to every pitch of the Padres game on Odyssey. Download the free Odyssey app and search 97.3 The Fan to get started. To be fair, they're going to have the game on televisions tonight and the audio playing, so you probably won't need the app if you're here. But
Right.
if you go anywhere else, it's good to have it downloaded and ready to go. And we're ready to on Don't Do This. We'll get back to our phone lines and Padres fans just a couple of minutes here, but I'll get us started. We had the story, obviously, earlier this week on Don't Do This, the comments from West Virginia basketball coach Bob Huggins, homophobic slur on the radio. Just casually.
Casually, like no big deal.
He ended up getting not fired. He had his salary docked and was suspended for 3 games, but someone did get fired over it. His name is Josh Neighbors. He hosts a podcast, a Locked On Big 12 podcast, and he made the decision to play Bob Huggins' comments in their entirety and then denounce them and explain why they're just so horrible. But he got fired because he didn't edit out the slurs, beat them out, or anything by his employers.
Yeah,
And
he ripped Bob Huggins.
He did.
Yeah.
I mean, I think his heart was maybe in the right place. And I get it seems really weird that the guy who actually said the comments
Keeps his job.
But the guy who ripped him for saying the comments loses his job. However, it's totally unnecessary to play them. Everyone knows what he said.
Everyone knows,
The
yeah.
context clues are rather obvious. You know it's a homophobic slur. You can easily, the technology exists. Paulie does it
all the time,
17,000 times a week to bleep something out. It's not that hard, and it's just a bad decision.
He made the conscious decision.
Well, yeah, I don't get that. I mean, we had to do it. We did it not only because of FCC regulations. If we were a podcast, if we were on Sirius XM,
We would have done it anyway.
Still would have bleeped those words out.
Yeah, for sure.
They don't need to be repeated.
No, they don't, and it's easy way. I don't know that the guy should have lost his gig. But,
Yeah, I don't know.
It was a bad decision.
One of our favorite stories, maybe in the history of Ben and Woods, was last year when the 2 cheating fishermen were busted in the Lake Erie Walleye Trail Tournament. They inflated the weight of their fish by stuffing fish into their fish.
Fish fillets.
Filet-o fish into their fish, along with some weights. We had such a fun time talking about it.
Talk about bleeped audio.
Oh, bleeped audio. They
couldn't do it.
You would have thought these guys murdered somebody's kids. That they were like, get him, kick his ass. It was bananas. and so they got kicked out of the tournament. They had to forego, a lot of stuff. That being said, they got sentenced yesterday. They got their sentence. They're going to jail.
Oh my God.
Jacob Runyon and Chase Kaminsky were sentenced to 10 days in the local jail. They also face $2,500 in fines and additional time behind bars if they violate probation.
But technically, what did they do? They cheated in a sporting event, right?
Correct.
I mean, if you cork your bat, can you go to jail?
So they're saying this is one of those rare instances where you actually go to prison for cheating. There was a former Boston College basketball player was sentenced to 10 years in prison for point shaving. Then there was, of course, Pete Rose, who went to jail. He didn't go to jail for betting on baseball. He went to jail for evading his taxes. But yeah, they are they're going to the clink for 10 days to think about their actions, pay a fine, and they're going to be on probation afterwards. So lesson learned out there. If you want to win a fishing tournament, do it the right way.
And finally, a little do this on a Friday. I can't help. I know it's Giants loving.
More
to do
Giants
this
loving
again,
here
but
on the
it's
flagship.
It's also a local kid from
Local.
East Lake
All
High
right.
and from San Diego State. We talked about him earlier this week when he hit a home run in his first game. Casey Schmidt.
Holy Schmidt.
Is off to one of the most incredible starts you're ever going to see. His third game is yesterday. He's had multiple hits in every game. Had 4 hits, another home run, a 2-run shot, a 443-foot second deck home run in a win over the Diamondbacks yesterday. Casey Schmidt is taking Major League Baseball by storm.
Yep.
Now, who knows if it's going to last. There's been guys who have had great first weeks and you never hear from him again, but he's got all his family and friends watching these games, with him in Arizona. What an absolute unbelievable debut series for the San Diego State Aztec product.
That's incredible. I can't even imagine getting off to that hot a start in 45-plus adult league, much less
They're saying
in the bigs.
It's the best Giants start ever. Joe DiMaggio, the only player since 1920 with at least 8 hits, 4 RBI, and 4 runs scored through his first 3 games in baseball history.
I can.
And that's just because they started counting RBIs in 1920.
Yeah. Well, and the funny thing
Could've been longer.
is he's going to hit a lull,
of course,
because they all do. Every single one. And right now he's like, game's this easy. Ball looks like a beach ball. They're going to figure out. They're going to figure out where not to throw. Where not to throw him.
Put him in the Padres lineup. Every ball would be right at a fielder.
Right at a fielder, 100%.
And that's don't and do this for a Friday.
That was Don't Do This with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, let's keep those phone lines open. Padres fans, I know you're angry. The manager is angry as well. What are you seeing out there from this 19-19 baseball team? 833-288-0973. It could all turn around as soon as tonight or this weekend at the least. A series victory over the Dodgers would go a long way toward making everybody feel better.
How about this blast from the past? Win a game. Go 1-0 tonight. Go 1-0, and then that's it. Win tonight's game. 1-0. Starts fresh, clean slate, 19-19. Middling start to the season. Doesn't matter. You can't get those 19 games back. Nothing you can do about it. Cry in your Cheerios all you want. Win tonight. That's it. All you got to do. You have one job. Win tonight's game. Find a way. That's it.
Back out to your phone calls coming up next. We're live at Ale Smith Brewing Company, Miramar. It's Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. 1 hour from now will be the Scan Man, Bob Scanlon, on our Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad fan hotline. Save money the right way with Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad. Visit them today in the Carlsbad Auto Mall. Chevrolet find new roads. You got to see the series in Minnesota up close and personal, filling in for Jesse. He's on the road, so I think he's got a good finger on the pulse of the San Diego Padres clubhouse right now.
Yeah, I think so too. Scan's always he's pretty measured, and as a guy that's been there and knows. I mean, I just have this feeling that any former player, name one that we've talked to, Joey Votto, Brett Boone, Skip Schumacher, on and on and on down the list. I think we could ask any one of them, do you panic? Are you panicked right now? And I would pretty much bet everything I own that they would say, no, not right now. No panic. You gotta ramp it up a little bit. But again, 124. You guys agree with that statement, or am I talking out of my ass here?
No, I agree with that.
Any of them, right? Any former manager, any player, any former coach.
Mark Grant, Adam Jones.
Skip. And again, Bob putting a little heat on him yesterday, certainly. But for good reason.
Well, my philosophy. We always say, is it time to hit the panic button? It's never time to hit the panic button. Panicking is never the right reaction to even the worst of situations.
It's true.
You always want to take a thoughtful, appropriate response. Doesn't mean you don't do nothing. Not panicking doesn't necessarily mean inaction. It just means you don't just wildly go out and start throwing stuff on the wall and seeing what sticks. You rationally analyze what you can do differently and then try to implement changes. And that's what hopefully we're seeing from the San Diego Padres. Trying to get our fingers on the pulse of Padres fans. Our phone lines are open, 833-288-0973. Tyler, you'll be first up right after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the Premier Cadillac of Carlsbad Traffic Center, part of the Premier Auto family, here's Kelly Danek.
Traffic is sponsored by Premier Kia of Carlsbad. Just a couple of trouble spots here, guys. Westbound side of the 52 past Mask Boulevard. We have reports of a stalled pickup truck in middle lanes. Hit and run crash southbound side of the 15 at the 78, not showing if lanes are blocked. With a huge selection of new Kias in stock, they're sure to have the Kia of your dreams. They're right up the 5 freeway in the heart of Carlsbad, or shop online at premierkiaofcarlsbad.com. I'm Kelly Danek with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Hey, you don't have to agree with me. Maybe you do think that Bob Melvin needs to go. I don't think you're going to find any agreement among the panel here, the hosts here at AleSmith Brewing Company today, but I heard it from some fans on the phone lines yesterday. Let's go back out to our phone lines. As promised, Tyler, thanks for holding on. You're next up here with Ben & Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
Hey, guys.
Hey, bud.
So I grew up playing baseball. I'm 30. I still play. I grew up a kid watching the pod. I'd ditch my friends to go watch the game. Even in the 69 win season. I also love fantasy baseball. I'm a Fangraphs nerd, so I love. It's the best of both worlds. One thing that I can notice. Well, obviously the pitching and defense is fine. Offensively, their advanced numbers aren't really that bad.
Right.
I mean, 3 guys are struggling overall, advanced, analytically speaking. Kim, Manny, and Cruz. Everybody's confident in Manny. The one thing that really sticks out is and it could be related to an immense amount of pressure, who knows, but they're striking out way too much.
Yep.
And the eye test shows it too. I mean, they're a bit passive on those cookies. And then they'll swing at the slider down and away, the broken record. Besides Crone and Bogey, everyone else is striking out at 20% or more. I think they might just need to relax. But other than that, there's not really an issue. I think they just need to, timely hitting is a thing they can improve on.
Massive, yeah.
Maybe swing at those pitches, those mistakes, swing at those. And everything will be fine.
I agree.
Baseball's hard.
Yep. That's a good call. It's a good measured. It's a good measured call. And like I said earlier, and I've heard and seen the rants and again, this isn't a team that's getting beat 9-2. This isn't a team that's given up. This isn't a team that's kicking the ball around. This isn't a team that's laying cookies in there. This isn't a team that's not trying. I don't see any of that. I would tell you if I did. I told you 2 years ago.
Bob Melvin told you they needed more tenacity.
Yep.
At least offensively during games.
Correct. And we've talked about this, the dumb boxer analogy. Boy, we love getting an early shot in. Just don't finish the fight. And that's the early shots are coming. And you're getting 2 runs and you're like, all right, we're good. 2 runs should hold up. And then, it puts so much stress on the Honeywells, the Garcias, the Wilsons. It's every single. How nice would it be one of our relievers to come in with a 4-run lead or a 5-run lead? Again, this team is a swing away every single night from winning a baseball game. 1 swing away, 1 hit away every single night. I'm not saying, don't mistake what I'm saying, that's okay. I'm not saying, hey, that's what you want. Man, I'd rather be in these games than out of them, though.
Tyler's potential solution is always the hardest, I think, one to
relax.
implement.
Yeah, relax.
To relax, to maybe do a little bit less. When you're struggling, the tendency for most professional baseball players, I think for most people in general, is to grind and work a little bit harder than you were. All right, I'm not swinging at the right pitches. I'm going to take more batting practice. I'm going to work harder and harder. I know Tresham is absolutely like that. Just a maniac when it comes to trying to get better every single day. Juan Soto is like that, But sometimes the answer, as counterintuitive as it is, let's take a day off from BP. Let's get to the ballpark late today and, go get your head clear. Go do something else this morning that's not baseball related. Go see a movie and don't think about baseball for a few hours. If it doesn't work, it looks horrible when, you're struggling. Well, what did you guys do today? Well, we went to a movie. Then what happens? Everyone just loads up on you. Like you've lost 4 out of 5 and you guys went to a movie. You're not even trying. I mean, that's how people end up getting fired. But sometimes that's exactly what a team needs, is to stop being in their head so much and stop grinding all the time.
Like I always say,
and let go a little bit.
If you're in the NFL and you drop 3 games in a row, you better have your ass to practice. You better be hitting the sled. You better be lifting weights. You better be doing all the things that you need to do to execute, because you don't have many games left. You don't have many games. It's a very short season. 17 games. You got to find out how to win 9 of those at a minimum, right? Like you go into a football season, you go, we got to win 9 games at least. And let's shoot for 10, 11.
Probably
12
10 now, yeah.
12 is probably really, really good. How do we find a way to win 12 games? In the span of a baseball season with 124 to play and a 500 record after 38, it's no time to panic, man. It's not. I'm sorry. Like, you want me to scream and yell? Damn it, play better. There's no time to. You have so much time to figure it out. Will they? I don't know. I think they will. I like our guys. I feel like if they stay healthy, I feel like we're going to get on a roll. How could you not? How could you not? These aren't rookies we're waiting for to perform and hoping they reach their potential. And I know that's what makes it more frustrating. But, man, if you aren't seeing guys crawling out of it, then you're not watching. You're not watching. You're not watching Juan Soto, who's crawling out of a really bad start.
833-288-0973. Let's go out to Ron. Ron, you're next up with Ben and Woods here on 97.3 The Fan. Good morning.
Good morning, fellas. How you doing?
Good, Ron. How you doing, buddy?
Guys, I'm really upset. And to think that Bob Melvin needs to go, that's absolutely ridiculous. But here's the thing. Once you get past the big 4 and all the pressure, guys have all the pressure because our 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 guys freaking hit.
They're dying. Yeah, they're dying right now.
Our catching situation is horrible. How did Rugnet or Dor even make the team, right?
Know.
And Kim can't hit, and Cronenworth is really struggling, and our DH is 42 years old, and you don't know which Carpenter you're going to get.
Yep.
I mean, Juan Soto can't circle a fly ball. it's just I don't know, man.
Yeah, I think maybe that's I think that's what Bob Melvin's talking about last night. A little more tenacious, a little less of the hubris has been the word of the week. A little less hubris about who you are and what the back of your baseball card says, right? Like, hey, man, knock that sack fly in. We need it. Get that guy over. We need it at this point. We got to do anything we can do to win a ball game and go 1-0 that day. And I agree with you. There's nothing I can point to say, you know, and listen, I do think those top 4 guys will all have good seasons. I do. I don't see any of them falling off a cliff. That being said, everyone's got to step up. It can't just be one guy or 2 guys in a lineup. We've seen that in Anaheim, you guys. It's a perfect example. We've seen that in Anaheim for a decade. One guy putting up monster numbers and they don't make the playoffs, right? You got to have a complete team.
You know, it's funny, as we went into this season, I think at least privately, you know, I was worried. Would Nelson Cruz really be able to bounce back? Does he have anything left at age 42?
Sure.
And then we saw him get off to a pretty decent start. Looks like
missiles.
Nelson Cruz, and I thought, okay, you know, he's still got it in him. No worries. Matt Carpenter. Okay, yeah, a great summer for the Yankees, but he had completely fallen off a cliff with the Cardinals the last couple of years, was almost out of baseball. Is he going to be able to reclaim that magic? And, you know, he started swinging the ball decently, and I go, okay, you
All
know,
right,
they
we're
don't need him to be a superstar.
Average of $4 million a man. Nelly makes 1, Carp makes 7.
They're getting some good production out of those guys early. They don't need to be the superstars on this team. That's incredible depth. If those are your 5, 6, or 7 hitters in your lineup,
we're in great shape.
You've got an unbelievable lineup. But now they neither of them have been performing lately, and I'm kind of back to that. Well, was that just a mirage, a brief mirage, and are both of these guys washed? Because if they are, that's a problem for the Padres.
Big time.
Yeah, because then they've got what Ron said. Now you've got a big black hole from like 5 to 9 in your order. You know that Austin Nola is never going to be, I think, what he was with Seattle. I don't think Ha-Seong Kim is ever going to be an above average major league hitter. Good defense, obviously. Trent Grisham is going to give you good D as well, but yeah, he'll get hot every once in a while. Hopefully he can at least be the Grish who hit 19 homers for you, but we're not seeing that right now either.
Had a lot of extra base pop early, you know, and boy, a double yesterday would have been,
you know, and
really nice.
He'll probably have some moments during the season as well. But I do think you need production out of the DH slot.
You have to.
And if you're not getting anything from Cruz and Carpenter, that really shortens the Padres lineup a lot.
No question. No question. Nelly got 1 shot yesterday. It was and the game, it was the ugliest swing I've seen all year.
And we talked earlier about Cronenworth struggling,
Yeah.
and he is a guy in particular that we know he can provide more. So when you have your first baseman, typically a power spot
power
in the
guy.
lineup,
Yeah.
when you have your first
DH.
baseman and your DH are just not giving you much.
Tough to win ball games. How do we win 19? That's how I feel sometimes. What's our record? 19-19?
8.
How do we win 19?
Let's get one more in here before the top of the hour. We got Thomas hanging on. Thomas, good morning. You're on with Ben and Woods, live from Ale Smith Brewing this morning on a Friday.
Dropped off.
Oh, dropped off. Let's go to Mike up in Temecula. Mike, hello.
Juan, go to Juan.
Let's go to Juan. I tries the charm here. Juan, good morning. Welcome to Ben and Woods.
Is this Juan Soto? You're playing very well.
Good morning, everybody.
Can you imagine if it was him? That'd be the greatest thing of all time.
Hey, good morning, guys. Real quick,
Morning.
I love your show, Paul, Ben and Woods.
Thank you.
It's real simple. As long as we keep pitching the way we're pitching, the management and the batters will figure it out. I know. I'd rather be a Padres fan right now than a Rocky or an Oakland A's fan.
Yep.
I'm not panicking. The only way I'll panic is like with 3 down to make the playoffs with 3 games to go.
Yep. It's a good way to look at it because, again, you know, the struggles early in the season, and people are making the comparisons to the Nationals that won the World Series and there's other teams. The Yankees in 2009 struggled I think they were 500 out of the gate. There's a bunch of teams that's happened to. You're not assured that they're going to get hot later. The Phillies, who won the pennant, limped into the playoffs. I didn't even think they were going to make the playoffs. We all know too, much like college basketball, you get in, just get to the dance, right? Get to the dance. I'm seeing people like, I thought we were going to win 105 games. Guess what? I did too. I thought we were going to win 115. It doesn't look like it's in the cards right now. Can they still do it? Yeah, they can.
Win 2 out of 3 every game.
Every
the rest
series,
of the way,
sure.
They'll win about 102 games.
Right.
Yes.
So Is it possible to win 100 games? Yeah. Is that the goal? No. What is the goal? The goal is to make the playoffs and heat up right at the right time. That's it. If they miss the playoffs, oh my God, the world should end. I don't know what to tell you. They're a playoff team. They're just not playing like it right now.
It's a good point that none of the Padres' goals for this season as a team, the ones that they established on the first day of spring
win
training,
100 games.
None of them can be achieved in April, May,
not one.
June, July, August, or September.
Not one of them.
Really, the only one you can achieve in the regular season is make the playoffs.
That's it.
That's the only goal the Padres have for this season that is required of what they want to do,
dude. And
they could limp into the
when I say
playoffs as the last
required,
wild card,
like,
and still achieve every single goal that they had for this season.
That is the bare minimum for this team is make the playoffs.
No. I think the minimum is more than that, but I'm telling you.
You know what I'm saying? At this point, no.
Yeah.
You have to make the playoffs. You have to.
They can achieve all their goals by winning 86 games.
That's right.
And
If they
living
get
in
in.
as the final wild card.
That's exactly
they
right.
absolutely can.
Yep.
You know, I think it would be easier if they win 98 games
And win the
a
division,
division
sure.
and get a bye, and that would be preferable.
That
but,
being said, win tonight.
all right, we will come back. Scan's going to join us in our next hour. We're live at AleSmith. Come on down for the specials. Come on down for the coffee. Come on down for the Padres talk here on 97.3 The Fan.
home on a Friday, live from Alesmith. We got some people in here now. It doesn't sound like it, but they're actually here. Got some. Everyone's drinking beer already. I was just offered a beer, and I said, if I have one beer, I will pass out. I will pass out, dead asleep. I did my sleep test last night, Benjamin.
Oh, good for you.
So I finally got the thing in the mail, and it came in a box, much like the Cologuard box, and I have to ship this one back today. I have the label. I will be shipping it back to the company and not to myself, as I did with my doo-doo sample. But I did that. It has a little bit of, it pumps a little oxygen in your nose, even for the study. And I feel better today.
Nice.
I felt a little bit more rested. Now it's weird sleeping with a thing around your chest and a sensor on your finger, and then the oxygen tube in your nose. But I think they're going to, recommend a CPAP at some point. So
wait until you get that. Then you feel like one of those pilots on Top Gun.
Yeah, of course.
Putting on the face mask every night you go to sleep.
Yeah, the woman repeller.
Oh, no,
I'm sure Hannah is going to want to crawl.
Maverick's like the coolest guy ever. Just act like you're a fighter pilot.
He doesn't wear it out when he's meeting women. No, that's the thing. I'm going to be in bed next to my wife, and she's going to look over and go, "Yep, never mind."
Imagine Tom Cruise.
Never close your eyes with the long tube. She's going to look at me and go, "Oh, this is what I married."
You lost that love.
So I got that done yesterday, and I'm excited about getting a CPAP and maybe feeling normal again, because I'm just not sleeping very well.
I think mine's working really well. So
this team doesn't help much.
No, that's true.
And the other thing,
we're all a little restless.
The other thing, and I teased it earlier, and Adam's here now, but he's not going to be very pleased with me. I made a big decision. I've thought about it for about 48 hours. Do you have any idea what it is?
I have no idea.
I'm nuking my Twitter today.
Ooh.
Nuking it. It's going away.
On timeout or forever?
Maybe forever. I realized something yesterday, and this is what sent me over the edge. It wasn't, mean tweets or whatever. I was going back and forth with somebody on Twitter, and it was time for T-ball, and Bo was asking me to help him get him dressed for T-ball. Get the cup into the sliders and get the socks on and the pants. And I was back and forth, and I snapped at him because I was busy on Twitter, and it hit me like a ton of bricks. And I thought to myself, Paulie, as I was driving in again this morning, I said, man, how much money does Twitter generate for me? 0.0 cents. It is all consuming. The negativity is toxic. It's toxic. It's like eating rat poison, logging onto that app every single day. So I'm nuking it, man. I'm going to try Twitter free. Aren't you going to miss interactions like this one? I tweeted out, Bomel not happy about losing, that's for sure. And I got the response here by my friend Bodie. He's not a born loser like you. You're not going to miss great Twitter interactions like that that I get on my feed? I am not going to miss that in the slightest.
All right, that's fine.
For me, I'm going to miss some stuff. Here's the thing about me, too. You might say, well, just pull back. Just keep your account and don't check it, buddy. Who are you talking to?
No, I know.
It's like leaving
I can do that. You can't do that.
Paul can do it.
We'll still have our Ben and Woods account, and if you need to say something,
I will not.
You will tell Paul, tweet this for me, sign it Woods.
The other thing is,
you can still get your message out if you need to on social media.
I've been really interactive on that app for a long time, and for the duration of this show, and I'm just kind of over it. And so once I lost it I didn't lose it. I didn't smack him upside the head or anything, but I was driving to practice. My eyes, they almost welled up with tears because I go, did you just snap at your kid because you're arguing with a stranger about baseball on Twitter? I go, you're a crap dad, dude. And the bad far outweighs the good. It's far outweighs. I see some funny stuff. You get some news. Queens of the Stone Age got a new record coming out. Like all that stuff. Hey, I'll miss it. I'll figure it out. So you can follow me on Instagram. Instagram for me is way less toxic.
Saw an amazing schedule released by the Tennessee Titans.
I saw that. I'll miss it. I'll have to watch it on your computer.
They went out and asked a bunch of people on
nuking it
on Broadway in Nashville they showed the logos of each of the opponents of
Yeah,
the
it was
Titans.
great.
Said, which team is this? People were they could not figure out.
It was unbelievable.
It was really, really funny.
I was reminded with that video that most teams, if not all teams, do a pretty clever schedule release video right around this time of year.
The pressure is ratcheted up. Man.
Tennessee just came out with a banger.
Yeah, it was really good. They went out to Broadway in Nashville, which is like the strip. Like everyone's just hammered, having a good time, and showed them the teams that the Titans would be playing. And they had to guess
the logo.
Yeah, showed them to guess. And of course, they thought the Colts were the Cowboys and the Falcons were the Bobcats or something. It was
the Buccaneers.
The Bucs are like
was
the,
like the
Pirates
Pirates
of the
Caribbean Islands.
Caribbean.
It was really well done. Listen,
Frank, do we have any of that audio?
the whole thing literally could have been faked and set up.
It still was,
but
very
it's
clever.
brilliant.
It's very clever. That's what I would miss if I left Twitter. I think there are some good things there from time to time. I like
Frank's got a
interacting with
taste of that
Padres
if we wanna hear
fans
some of it.
after the game. I really do. So I'll still be on there representing the show.
Good for you, man. I have done the availability scene for the Ben and Woods program for 5 years. I am going to step away from the mic for a while.
All right, Frank's got a little bit of our Tennessee Titans Twitter feed.
He might not.
Oh. Lightning McQueen.
No. Lightning McQueen. I think that was the Chargers. Yes.
Oh, that's just the football logo. The Boston Bobcats. No idea.
Cincinnati Bengals.
That was the Cincinnati Bengals. The B with the Colts. Yeah, it's not the Cowboys. It's the Colts.
Baltimore Orioles.
It's the Baltimore Orioles. That's close.
This one is the Red Stallions. Ah.
I don't even know that.
Falcons.
That was the Falcons.
No.
Yours.
It's the Pirates from the islands of the Caribbean.
Yeah, Pirates from the islands of the
That's
Caribbean.
enough. It's fairly visual.
No,
but
we're good.
that's-
Yeah, we're good.
The Pirates of the islands of the Caribbean.
It was really, really well done.
Got some prize news for everybody. If you come down and join us here at AleSmith, so every half hour now for the rest of our show, we're going to give away some prizes, including a 4-pack of tickets to SeaWorld, and we've got Padres tickets for the game against the Cubs on June the 3rd, I believe it is, the June 3rd game. So every half hour, 8:30, 9, and 9:30, we will be giving away prizes to people in attendance here at AleSmith.
Oh, I like
so
that.
Still have time to get down here. We're also going to play Take on Woods coming up in our next segment for a chance to qualify for a trip to Las Vegas. So we'll get a caller.
Who wants to play Take on Woods?
Anyone
Let's do a live.
in here?
Anybody?
Who can take on Woods?
Anybody want to take me on?
I don't see any. I don't see any takers. So
wimps.
we'll keep it open to the phone lines coming up here at AleSmith Brewing Company, where you can get
Tree Rat. Tree Rat's
Tree Rat's
on
going to
board.
do it.
Next-
All right, next segment.
segment.
You can hang on for a second. We'll do it in our next segment coming up. 833-288-0973. Padres will take on the Dodgers tonight in the first of 3 from Dodger Stadium. You can watch here at AleSmith. They're going to have the sound up. It's going to be the end of our broadcast day, our viewing party here with all the Padres fans. Blake Snell will be back on the mound today against Dustin May. Rematch of the game 2 of the series against the Dodgers last weekend. Remember, Blake had his best effort of the season, but I think without a doubt his last time out against the Dodgers. Gave up 1 hit in 6 innings. It was a 2-run home run, and he took the loss because of it, 2-1.
A 2-out walk and a 2-run home run, and that was it. And you can't waste a performance like that from Blake Snell. So hopefully he's locked in tonight. Typically pitches well against LA, and they got again tough for Dustin May on the mound. He was pretty nasty last week. Had that 2 feet of run on his 99-mile-an-hour 2-seam. So doesn't get any easier, boys. It does not get any easier, and you try to light a fire under the guys last night. Dustin May is pretty good at extinguishing those. It's not the easiest customer to go up against after getting a talking to from your manager, right? Like, hey, we really need you to go out and kick ass tomorrow. Like,
Time to get right.
Time to get right, guys. It's Dustin May. So
May,
it's
Gonsolin,
but I-
Urias this weekend.
But I think, again, the tenacity is what Bob is talking about. And if he sees effort and tenacious, you may not win every game. But clearly, like Ben said earlier, the effort's not there right now. So if the effort's there, I think this team wins more than they lose, obviously.
By the way, speaking of that, we talked about really the ultimate goal is to get into the postseason. I checked again. Gonna stun you. If the playoffs started today, Padres would be the third wild card in the National League.
I mean,
Tied for it actually with the Miami Marlins of all teams.
You want more?
Who
And
are
you can
who are
get more?
19-19, despite having the worst run differential in the National League at -54. But thanks to their 12-0 record in one-run games,
unreal.
Skip Schumacher has that Miami team with the same record as the San Diego Padres right now at 19-19.
Yeah, we call that the Skip Schumacher effect.
The Cubs, who actually, well, they have a +48 run differential. They're 18-19, so they're getting they're the exact opposite of the Marlins. They're getting the least out of their scoring, whereas the Marlins are getting the most out of it. But hey, if the Padres are in a bit of a panic mode, what are they talking about in New York right now?
Houston, New York.
The Mets have lost 5 straight series for the first time in a decade.
Wow.
And have dropped to 18-20, despite having the highest payroll in the history of baseball on their roster. And they are struggling badly early in the season for Buck Showalter. I saw the quotes after the game.
Identical.
Could be Bob Melvin right now.
Identical.
Like, we're not coming through in the clutch. We're not driving in runs when we need to do so. We've got all this talent. I'm not sure why they're not performing the way they are. You could do a little side by side. Who said it? Is it Bob Melvin? Is it Buck Showalter right now?
Frankie, Italian Paul, back in the studio, big Mets fan. All right, so the similarities are I mean, the Mets are worse off, Frankie. What is your take on what's happening in Flushing right now?
I don't speak English, guys. I'm sorry. I don't know what you're saying.
He doesn't want to talk about it. That's not good for sports talk radio, Frank.
No.
I mean, they're dying right now. Who's not performing?
Starling Marte is hitting everything, but he's hitting everything right at somebody, so that's a big problem. Alonso has been pretty much all or nothing. McNeil's hitting, but not where he would hit. The biggest problem right now is it took them a month and a half to bring up Brett Beatty.
Yep.
It took them a month to bring up Francisco Alvarez, and the only reason why they did is because Omar Narvaez got hurt. If Narvaez didn't get hurt, I guarantee you Alvarez would still be down the minors.
He's that stud catcher you guys
But why
got.
is a team with a $300 and something million payroll relying on guys who are making their big league debuts that have never played before?
It's mostly the money is mostly in the pitching staff.
Yeah.
And Scherzer's been hurt.
Verlander.
Yesterday, I think it was yesterday, Verlander made his second start. Senga's been fine. Carrasco has thrown 2 starts, and the 2 starts he did were embarrassing. Quintana's done for the year. He had some sort of surgery during spring training. So all of that money, especially the $100 million that are tied up in 2 guys whose age combined equal 100, is not getting it done.
And now, do you feel that they will turn it around?
This is effectively the same exact team that won 101 games last year. Yes, I do think they will turn it around.
Good. A measured baseball fan. There we go. I like that. I like that.
It's not
take,
fun
Frankie.
It's not fun at all going through it right now, and they have been outscored in the first inning 33-9 this season, and they just lost 2 out of 3 to Cincinnati after losing 2 out of 3 against Colorado after getting swept by the freaking Tigers. It's not good right now. It's ugly. The losses are ugly.
It could be.
It's not like we're
so
losing to
much
first place
worse.
teams.
We are.
It's a
We
good
are,
reminder
actually.
to Padres fans. You're not the only fan base
in
going
hell.
through some difficult times right now,
Yeah,
for
no
sure.
doubt. No doubt.
It's happening in other places as well. And I know you're not going to be surprised out there if the Mets figure it out and start playing better. Just as I would say everyone else around baseball will look at the Padres and go, God, I hope get them when they're like this, because I know this team is going to start playing really well, and they're all going, oh, we don't play them until August. By then, they're going to be on fire. They're going to have to, play Soto and Tatis and Bogarts, and they're all going to be going at once. Man, it's the seasons within seasons in Major League Baseball.
Well, we had Wayne Kirby on that one time. He talked about evaluating the team at 40 games, and we'll have the chance to evaluate the team at 41 games after this weekend. So 38 games right now. I mean, I saw a lot of blanket statements yesterday saying, with 38 games in the books, this is who they are. Really? Like, it's not. It's not even. This is not who they are. I don't think so. I don't think they're a 500 ball club. They are right now, but with 124 games to go, this is who
that's
they
not
are.
entirely bad. If you're saying this is who they are, okay, they're getting quality starts
Every time out.
single day.
Yep.
Fernando Tatis looks like he did before he was gone. That was a big concern. He's alleviated that concern. Juan Soto may be the hottest hitter in baseball right now. Manny Machado is coming around after
Hitting
a slow
balls
start.
really hard. Yep.
Xander Bogaerts put the team on his back for a month.
He's why we have 19 wins.
I mean, it's not like everything is direly bad in Padres land. The one thing that they're just not doing is the final score of games, which, ultimately results are the only thing that matters. But like you said, it's not football where you have a bad 7-game stretch, your season is toast.
Yeah, you're tanking for a draft pick.
Baseball. And really, you'd like to see the numbers behind the numbers look good, and you trust that will sort itself out on the scoreboard.
I think I would just like to stay away from sweeping generalizations after 38 games. I think that's probably the smart thing to do in a long season.
All right, we've got Tree Rat's going to take on Woods when we come back.
I'm ready.
So we'll get an in-person game of our musical trivia contest, get a chance for him to qualify for a getaway to Las Vegas. Then we'll give away some World Passes to someone who is here at AleSmith at the bottom of the hour. That means if you're within about 15 minutes of the place, you can still get down here for that giveaway, or come later, more SeaWorld passes, some Padres tickets as well. It's Ben and Woods coming back after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan. one of our dogs for surgery this morning.
Oh no!
Told you about it. Nothing life-threatening. She's got a fatty tumor thing. It's not like cancerous, but yeah, it's like this big
As I look down,
blob on her belly. That she I mean, she can barely lay down now.
poor
So
baby.
kind of a cosmetic procedure essentially for $1,700. That's always fun. Get cosmetic dog surgery for $2,000. But what are you going to do? I mean,
You have to
just
do
let it keep growing until
No, you
it's
have to do
the
it.
size of a beach ball.
You have to. I mean, that's what we've done. We let our boilers get way out of
that's
control.
true. That's true.
Poor baby. Well, so now
He's there though, and they're not even open yet. They're supposed to drop him off at 8:30. So I was trying to figure out, are you there? What's going on here?
so you get the surgery, and then you have to like watch her like
yeah,
a
so I'll
hawk.
pick her up this afternoon after because the anesthesia has to wear off, and they're going to watch her, and then she'll have the cone, and I'll have to watch her like a hawk all weekend to make sure she's not getting into her little wound, scar, whatever. It's looking forward to
Knowing
that.
that,
Right away, the cone of shame.
Yeah, shame.
Knowing that dog too, she'll find a way
Oh,
to
yeah.
get that cone off.
She's so bad.
It's
Just so bad.
such a nightmare.
Bad dog.
man.
Bad dog.
Such a nightmare. 1,700.
Yeah, not her fault, but not looking forward to that check.
You don't like
I don't like-
stroking
no, that's true.
$15
No, that's true,
checks,
too.
so 1,700 must put you under, buddy. Man, thank you guys for all coming. There's quite a few tier ones here now. Thank you guys for being here. We really appreciate it. We know it's early. You guys rule. I know it's hard. The season's not off to the start we all expected it to be, but as I mentioned, 1:24 to go.
Got Bob Scanlon coming up here at
Oh,
the
I
bottom
love
of the hour on a Friar Friday.
Let's do
Right
this.
now, though, it is time for an in-person at AleSmith version of Take on Woods. Outside the building, so he can't hear what's going on right now. And we got our friend Tree Rat, who we've known since our very first shows back in the day at the old station, who's going to try to compete in person. Tree, put the microphone right in front of your face and make
There
sure
we
you
go.
can hear, because you're going to have to listen to the 2-second song. Get comfortable with the headset that Woodsy's using. All right, can we hear you?
I don't know.
All right,
Yep.
yeah, we got
There we
you.
go.
All right, we got you loud and clear. You are playing to try to qualify, and for our getaway to Las Vegas. It's a 2-night stay at the Westgate Las Vegas Resort and Casino, plus tickets to Little River Band. Do you like Little River Band like I do?
Sure.
Oh, absolutely. They're going to be playing on August 5th at the International Theater at the Westgate Las Vegas Resort and Casino. So your advantage here, you get to pick our category on Take on Woods. Here are your 3 choices. Who, Me, Worry. 5 songs with worry or worried in the title. Lil Rappers, 5 different rappers who use the diminutive Lil in front of their names. Or Child's Play. Those are 5 songs or titles, artists with child or children in the name. So, Who, Me, Worry, Lil Rappers, or Child's Play? What would you like to try?
I'll go the Who Me Worry.
Who, Me, Worry. Okay, so 5 questions, 60 seconds. You don't know an answer, you can pass it. We'll come back if there's time left on the clock. Frank will be keeping that back in the studio. First question is our 2-second song, so listen carefully. Frank's going to play a couple of seconds of a song, and you try to give me the title and the artist to score that point, and we'll go on from there and see how you do. And then Woods comes in, same 5 questions. We compare scores. We determine a winner. Tree, you ready to go?
Let's go.
All right, 60 seconds on the clock. Italian Paul back in the studio ready. The category Who, Me, Worry. Your time begins when Frank plays the music. Good luck, Tree Rat. Let's take on Woods.
Pass.
All right, the first a cappella song to ever reach number 1 on the Billboard charts was which 1988 Bobby McFerrin hit?
Don't worry, be happy.
Correct. I Won't Worry is the subtitle of which debut single by Jason Mraz?
Pass.
Released by the Beach Boys as the B-side to I Get Around, which sad-sounding tune is often considered Brian Wilson's signature singing performance?
Pass.
Released in 2013 as their final single before the group broke up, which song also became Swedish House Mafia's biggest hit?
Definitely pass.
All right, let's go back to the 2-second song. I don't know if you'll get this one either. Let's go to the Beach Boys one. You can get this one. The B-side to I Get Around, which sad-sounding tune is often considered Brian Wilson's signature singing performance. Remember the category. It's Don't Worry, Baby is the Beach Boys song.
Never heard it.
Don't worry, babe. Don't worry, babe. I like Brian Wilson at all. I Ain't Worried by One Republic was our 2-second song. The Remedy is the name of the Jason Mraz I Won't Worry subtitle. And Don't You Worry, Child. But I don't know that Woods is going to do that well in this category either. So go back and take your seat. And we're gonna get that's his chewed pen. All right, put your headset down. Woodsy is going to come back in. We will give him the same 5 questions in the same 60 seconds. Here he comes. All right, Tree Rat's score is locked in. Frank is going to reset our 2-second song. Woodsy doesn't get the category. Makes it a little tougher for him. I think this is a tough category as well. So 60 seconds back on the clock. Woods, you're back on headset. Your time begins when Italian Paul plays the music. Good luck, Woods. Let's take on Tree Rat.
Pass.
The first a cappella song to ever reach #1 on the Billboard charts was which 1988 Bobby McFerrin hit?
Don't Worry, Be Happy?
Correct. I Won't Worry is the subtitle of which debut single by Jason Mraz?
Pass.
Released by the Beach Boys as the B-side to I Get Around, which sad-sounding tune is often considered Brian Wilson's signature singing performance?
Don't Worry, Baby?
Correct. Released in 2013 as their final single before the group broke up, which song also became Swedish House Mafia's biggest hit?
Worry About My Taint.
Not quite.
No,
Go back
all
to
right.
our 2-second song.
Something by Maroon 5? I have no idea.
I Won't Worry is the subtitle of which debut single by Jason Mraz?
No idea.
That's it.
I'm out.
You're out.
2?
2 to 1.
Oh, my
tough,
God.
Tough category today.
It's like a Padres game there.
You never had to play I Ain't Worried by One Republic in your day?
No.
All right.
I
that was
Worried?
I Ain't Worried.
Oh, I Ain't Worried.
The Remedy is I Won't Worry by Jason Mraz.
Okay, never heard of it.
And Don't You Worry, Child is Swedish House Mafia. But the other two, Don't Worry, Be Happy, and Don't Worry, Baby.
Mama.
Who Me Worry was today's tough category in Take On Words.
Glad we got that one out of the way.
Yeah, it's gone. It's erased. It's out of our memory banks. Boom, in the trash
All right,
can.
good.
It's gone. Sorry, but thank you for playing Tree Rat on a tough category today. All right, we're going to give away some SeaWorld passes here to someone at AleSmith. And then Bob Scanlon going to join us on a Friar Friday on the trip with the Padres coming up next on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Box Storage. Visit bigbox.com. Need to rent a storage unit? Forget renting and loading a truck. Big Box Storage delivers the storage unit right to you. Loaded at your convenience, and it will be picked up and accessible in your storage unit. Need storage? Get the storage you need with free delivery and pickup at bigbox.com. All right, Bob Scanlon's our Friar Friday guest. We will get out to Bob after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the premier Cadillac of Carlsbad Traffic Center,
I don't have him yet.
Auto Family, here's Dominic.
Traffic is sponsored by Viejas Casino and Resort. Well, guys, I'm happy to report no incidents or accidents to slow you down on our freeways. You might still see the usual flowing spots, maybe even a little lighter since it's Friday. But yeah, not too bad of a ride this morning. Traffic is brought to you by the easiest casino to drive to. Viejas is just 5 minutes in downtown San Diego and one simple exit off the A freeway. No topsy-turvy, poorly lit roads are needed to win big. Arrive safely at San Diego's luxury gaming destination, Viejas Casino and Resort. And Kelly Danik with Ben & Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
As we wait for Bob to get on the line, some interesting comments from Joe Musgrove this morning and in Kevin Acey's UT newsletter.
I've not seen that yet.
Yeah.
Fill me in, please.
I mean, he said it's just kind of one theory they're throwing around why the Padres have gotten off to the slow start. And
who's throwing around? Joe and the guys?
Joe is, yeah.
Okay.
He said, you look around the clubhouse, and if we had to go out there for one game and it all mattered, we feel like we can beat everybody.
Yeah.
I just feel like it might not be the right approach mentally or the right level of aggression, or like we're too comfortable.
Sure.
Like almost they're too confident. They feel like, all right, we need to just show up and we can beat all these teams, and perhaps they're not approaching it with the right level of preparation or intensity that they need to do so. It's actually a fairly scathing indictment player to player, something like that. I would say.
I don't know if scathing is the right word. To me, it feels pretty reflective, actually. It feels like, hey, man, I mean, we've got, our record is our record, and you can't do anything about it now. You're not talking about a team that's getting bodied.
I know, but
night after
okay,
night.
here's more from Musgrove. There's something about things getting down to where they have to be done. The kid that doesn't do his homework until the night before, but he gets it done because it has to be done that night. We don't want to wait too long to get to that point. So we're going to have to find a way to turn it around, whatever it is. I think that's kind of the explanation as to why Bob Melvin is doing this now in May and not waiting until Because honestly, if he waited until June, wouldn't be too late.
No.
But he says let's nip this in the bud a little bit earlier. Well, let's see what Bob Scanlon has to say. He's been filling in for Jesse on the mic here on 97.3 The Fan the last couple of days, and joins us on a Friday on our premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad fan hotline. Scan, good morning to you.
Good morning, guys. Everybody in a good mood today?
Just fantastic so far.
Hey, everybody say hi to Bob Scanlon.
Say hi, Bob. There we go. Some tier ones out there wanted to say hello. No, we always appreciate your levity, your level-headedness, and that's I feel like I'm kind of in the same camp, Bob, of 124 games to go. Can't get those 19 L's back, certainly, but you can control how you play the next 124.
I think you're absolutely right. Easier said than done, right? But I think one of the biggest problems that I had as a player was looking at the big picture and feeling overwhelmed by it sometimes, worrying about things that had happened in the past, right? And it's easy to look at those things and there's things that you can't control, and you start losing your focus. You start worrying about, oh, shoot, okay, my ERA is right here, or my batting average is at this point. What do I need to do over the next 2 months to get it back up where it should be? And you start looking at this, oh, my gosh, I've got to go 3 for 4 for the next 7 games or something ridiculous like. And then you stop taking your focus off what you really have control of. Now, and that usually eventually got me back on track of where I needed to go. But look, this is a frustrating time for this team right now. There's no question about it. I think Bob expressed it perfectly yesterday, as he usually does, right? Just being very honest about it, just saying, look, we're underperforming. We need to expect more of ourselves, including myself. And I think the key thing there was the tenacity for an entire game. And I think that what we've seen, guys, and I think you would probably agree with me, is that they're not getting blown out of games. They're not giving away games necessarily, but they're not winning the close games that they should be able to walk away with. And that oftentimes comes down to just being just absolutely tenacious and determined every single pitch of every game, and just deciding I'm going to bury these guys, and we need to just not take the foot off the pedal and keep going at it. I'm not saying that that's not the mentality of the players right now, but that's certainly something that Bob expressed. And in the clubhouse, it was a different feel yesterday, guys. I mean, normally we go in there and there's a sense of, okay, this didn't go as we wanted it to, but we're going to be fine. This is all going to work out. Yesterday, they were pissed, and understandably so. And I think it was a different mood in there yesterday, and we'll see if it carries over into the series against the Dodgers.
How was the mood on the flight coming back? I mean, was it somber, or did they get over it quickly? I mean, to have Bob Melvin, and he didn't go into detail what he told the players, but we heard from some of the players, obviously, that Bob let him know what he was thinking after the game yesterday. That's that's a sobering moment, I would think, for a baseball player, even this early in the season.
Yeah, but I think these guys understand and appreciate honesty and accountability. And I don't think anybody had a problem with it. I think everybody looked at it like, yeah, he's right. There's nothing that he said that isn't true. And we know that we're capable of doing more than what we've been doing. And guys, let's not say that this has all been terrible along the way, right? I mean, there's a lot of good things that are happening here as well. The rotation, 2 earned runs or less over the last 8 straight games, that's pretty impressive.
Very.
The defense has been mostly outstanding. They're not giving games away. The little things. The other day when the Minnesota Twins make 3 errors, well, we forget Ha-Seong Kim also took third base when the infield was in. Austin Nola gets the safety squeeze down. Fernando Tatis Jr. taking extra base. So they're doing a lot of the little things that they need to be doing along the way. They're not giving away games. They're still, doing a lot of things very well. But it's just been the hitting side of it. And to answer your question, the mood on the plane was, look, we're in the back. Media sits way in the back. The players were in the middle of the airplane. Maybe not quite as raucous as we normally see it out there, but certainly not guys moping. And I don't think there's a reason to mope at this point. It's a time for self-reflection.
Talking to our pal Bob Scanlon, the always level-headed Bob Scanlon here on Ben and Woods this morning. We were talking about earlier, and I had seen this point made. It's got to be tough to on the bullpen. And as somebody that worked out of the pen in your career, Scan, seemingly every inning is a high leverage inning for the guys coming out of the pen right now. You just mentioned the starters doing one hell of a job, just one hell of a job, getting us through 6, 2 innings or less most of the time. And then you got to come in, you got a 1-run lead, or you're chasing 1 or 2. How difficult is that night after night for this pen?
Yeah, no question about it, right? The pressure is constantly on them, and that was one of the things that we thought this offense was going to be able to provide is some breathing room so that it wasn't like that every night, both on the rotation and the bullpen. Unfortunately, that's the way it's been. And I'll be honest with you, as a former bullpen guy, I'm not sitting there feeling sorry for myself.
Right.
I actually relish those moments, right? I'm not that fired up about coming into a game that we're winning 7-0. I'm happy that we're blowing people out, but I get fired up when I'm coming in with runners on second and third and 1 out, and I've got to save my boys' runs from scoring.
Yep.
I've got to save this lead. I've got to hang on. That's what fires you up. So I don't think by any means the bullpen is sitting there thinking, oh, woe's us. Every time we come in, there's the game on the line. That's what you're there for. That's what you live for. That's what gets you pumped up. So would you like to have more breathing room? Certainly. But it hasn't worked out that way, unfortunately. And it's one of those things that just got to keep going at them and be honest with yourself. What can I be doing different? You review your process. Am I physically and mentally preparing myself the way I need to heading into battle? Am I doing the focus on the one pitch at a time like we just talked about? Easier said than done, but just staying in this very moment right here, right now. And then the final thing, sometimes, to be honest with you guys, I needed that kick in the butt from the manager or a pitching coach or sometimes a teammate to say, look, we need more out of you right now. And I would have to look in and just say, you know what? I've got to dig down deeper in this key clutch situation. I've got to have a different level of determination that I'm not going to get beat right here. I'm not going to have any mercy on this guy. I'm going to get the job done. I'm going to find a way. I don't care if I didn't have my slider warming up the bullpen and my split finger is saying, I've got to find a way to get the job done right here, right now. And sometimes that was on me. And again, I'm not saying that that's what's gone on with the bullpen in any way. I'm just reflecting on some of the things that I needed to review when I was going through a stretch that things weren't going the way I wanted to.
Talking to Bob Scanlon here on a Friar Friday with Ben and Woods. And Bob, now that we've had about 3 weeks of Fernando Tatis Jr. Since his return, I've got my thoughts here, but I want to see what you have to say. Is he every bit the player that he was before he missed the season plus with the injuries and suspension from what you've seen so far? He the same guy? Is he a different guy? Is he a better, not quite the same? What's your opinion so far?
Yeah, I think well, I don't even think we've seen the full Fernando back yet, and he's already been an impactful player, right? He hit 2 home runs off of Clayton Kershaw the other day. I think the kid's doing pretty well in there. I think his improvement in right field has surprised me. I thought that he was going to be good out there and that we would continue to see improvement. The extent and the speed of that improvement has surprised me, but I guess I shouldn't be, right? Because this kid's a freak of nature. It's been fun to watch him play. I think he's been a difference maker already, and I think there's still more to go as he continues to get used to being back on the field and playing a new position, and continuing to grow as a young player, as all young players do. So for me, the answer, I guess, is yes. Has he not been for you?
No, I think he has. I've been very impressed. I know we've talked to people looking for the exit velocity off his bat, and because he's so incredible in hitting those line drives. The one he hit yesterday, though, just another sign that everything that was there before still seems to be there. The base running, obviously, still spectacular. I'm surprised that he hasn't really missed a beat. I mean, how do you go away for that long and come back and play as well as he had is surprising me.
Yeah, freak of nature. I mean, that's why this kid is so special. I mean, and we saw him do it previously in his other returns from the IL, right? Every time he came back, we'd wonder, how long is it going to take for him to sort of get his feet back on the right and get acclimated, and he hit 2 home runs in his first game back every time. So I guess maybe there's nothing that this young man does that should surprise us at this point, and we're just grateful to have him back on the field.
Talking to our pal Bob Scanlon. Last one for me, because I'm seeing more of it than I ever thought I would. Bob, I feel very much that Bob Melvin is the right man for the job. Wanted your take as somebody that's been around the game for as long as you have. Is Bob Melvin, in your opinion, the right man for the Padres job, and why?
Oh my gosh, absolutely. I've been so impressed to watch Bob. Look, I'm not saying I've got more access to him than anybody else in the media or whatever. I just watch what he does on a daily basis from a player's perspective, a former player, in terms of how I want to be treated as a ball player, how I would want to be treated as a man, as a human being, and the way Bob handles the entire package, because there's multiple parts to it, right? There's handling a clubhouse as a whole, there's handling a team, there's handling in-game decisions, and there's also handling the individual player in terms of keeping each guy on track and understanding what his role is on the team and how he's going to help the team. And I think watching what he does on a daily basis in terms of handling all of those and keeping a clubhouse together, but also understanding when is the right time to talk to a certain guy on an individual topic or get him in the lineup, give a guy a rest. I think he's been masterful. I think last year was a great example of it. And all you need to do really for me, guys, is look at the final result of when he knew which buttons to push at which time, saving the big button for the end in Arizona. We all talk about that big talk that he had with the ball club down the stretch, and how that team has responded individually and as a group, and what they did and what they were able to accomplish in the postseason. So for me, again, not only the results that we saw last year, but just watching him on a daily basis in his process. This man cares. This man's experienced. He understands. He gets it as a player. He gets it as a team. And I can't think of anybody else that I'd rather have leading this ball club right now, especially during a time where they admittedly understand they are not playing up to the standards that they know that they can.
To wrap it up, Bob, Blake Snell tonight, coming off a great performance against the Dodgers, but not seeing the results. The process, though, seems to be there. He's been getting better each start, throwing with better command. How do you, as a pitcher, your perspective, when you're not seeing the results in the wins and losses, does that wear on you, or do you just have to keep going out there and going, hey, I'm doing my job, I can't help what the offense does?
Yeah, no, it can get frustrating, right? Let's be honest. I mean, you want to go out there, you want to post wins, you want to be celebrating at the end of the ball game with the boys and feel like, I contributed to a win, and that's why we've got the music blaring and we're celebrating and we're having a good time. You want to be a part of that and know that you contributed to that. That being said, Blake comes out of the last outing and feel like I did everything I could possibly do. Because look, we're talking about the process and we're talking about staying focused and having determination and all that kind. Hey, sometimes a lot of this game is just dumb luck, right? I mean, sometimes things go your way and sometimes they don't. Sometimes you pitch on the right night and the boys score you 5 runs. Sometimes you're facing a guy on the other side that shuts down your offense and you put up in a masterful outing and you've got nothing to show for it and just a quiet clubhouse at the end. But I think that's one of the strengths of Blake is that he understands, hey, I know what I need to do to continue my process to get better. And each outing, it seems as though he's gotten closer to that. Fastball command has gotten better and better. He's getting closer to getting that slider down. And when that slider shows up, guys, look out because that is his nasty put-away pitch. And he has basically kept the team in games so far without his number 1 put-away pitch. He's done a nice job of refining the changeup, using the curveball. And, talking to Blake last week, he said, look, I've got these things going. As soon as I get that slider going as well, look out because it's going to be lights out. I think we know that has to be the case with Blake.
Bob, out of time. Always great chatting with you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Bob.
Bob Scanlon on our
Okay.
Premier Chevrolet Carlsbad fan hotline. Save money the right
Love
way
him.
with Premier
Love
Chevrolet
him.
at Carlsbad.
Love Bob Scanlon.
Visit them today in the Carlsbad Auto Mall. Chevrolet, find new roads. Got a Craig Elston 619 Sports Crossing Streams Friday coming up next year on the Fan. here in Miramar. Got a good crowd of tier ones. The fun continues at 10 o'clock. Braden Soprenet, who just walked into the building, is going to be in for coach today, and then right into the Gwynn and Chris show, and then into our Padres pregame show with Sam Levitt. And then they're going to show the game against the Dodgers here on the screens tonight with all the audio. Enjoy a $5, $3.94 pale ale specials. I see a bunch of them already out there. That is getting your Friday started early. Here at AleSmith, we also got some coffee if you're not quite ready for beer yet, but come on out and join us here today with 97.3 The Fan at AleSmith Brewing Company. Our thanks again to Bob Scanlon, who just joined us. I have to say, and we got Craig Elston here as well, who's in person. Craig and I, we saw a lot of bad Padres baseball over the years, right? I mean,
a lot.
Some people have probably seen more over the years, but we have seen in person some of the worst Padres baseball that they've played in franchise history, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay. We know what bad baseball looks like. What does it look like? Bad defense, mental mistakes on the base paths. I'm not seeing any of that with this team. They play good defense. They run the bases solid. I mean, they're sharp. I'm not seeing the kind of dumb stuff that bad teams do from this Padres team.
Right.
And Scan kind of made mention of that as well.
Sure.
There are certain characteristics you look for in a bad baseball team. The Padres don't display those characteristics.
Not often.
No, they just don't hit.
Yeah, just don't hit. They're just not hitting.
There's levels to this, right? This team is right now a muddling mess.
Yeah,
that's
mediocre.
what I called them after yesterday's game on our post-game show. 19-19. We're like 17th in offense, 16th in pitching. We're right in the middle of the pack. But the fundamentals are generally good. The under the hood stuff is generally good for this club. I see two things right now, okay? At the top and at the bottom. At the top, you're getting what was formerly kind of cutely termed bad cluster luck, right? The cluster luck is terrible right now at the top of the order. When Tatis is hot, Manny gets cold.
Yep.
Like Manny, I think I saw in AC's newsletter this morning, 2 for 14 when Tatis is on base.
Crazy.
That's just emblematic, right? For the longest time, Juan Soto couldn't get it cranking. Now he does. Right on time. Xander Bogaerts is 3 for 27 with no home runs.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, with no extra base hits.
Nope.
So this continues.
Cluster luck.
It's
fantastic.
Yeah, it's bad cluster luck.
Yeah, cluster luck.
Yeah,
It is a
it's
cluster
really
luck,
fun to
isn't
say,
it?
isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's fun to say. Got to be a little careful. This whole team is a cluster luck right
Well,
now.
I mean, they've had poor cluster luck.
Poor cluster luck.
Poor cluster luck. You want to cluster those hits together, right? You can get 6 hits in a game and score no runs. You can get 6 hits in a game and score 6 runs.
Right.
If the 6 are together and the 6th one is gone.
100%.
Right? So that's something that's one of those things that over 162 evens out, right? The runners in scoring position number generally evens out over time. Sometimes it doesn't. You've got the Cardinals in 2013 that thought they had figured out how to do it like magically. And then it turned out, no, it's the same. So that's what's happening at the top. At the bottom, you have a problem.
Yes.
At the bottom, you have the negative repercussion of building the stars and scrubs model roster, right? Which is a real thing.
It is. The only I'm not arguing. The only thing I thought was these are guys at the bottom that have been here. They know how to go about their business. We've seen flashes from each of them, I'd say, except for Austin Nola. I've never really seen that hot streak by Nola. It's got some couple big hits here and there. Guys like throwing to him. That's about the only thing he brings to the table right now. I thought mistakenly those top 4 would make those bottom 4, call it, better. I thought my bold prediction was, oh my God, Cronenworth is about to go off because and we asked several big league pitchers about this too. The natural inclination of, oh my God, I got through those top 4. Woo, all right. Let's settle in a little bit. And you lay one in and Ha-Seong Kim beats you and Cronenworth beats you and Grisham beats you. Not happening. It's not happening. At least in 38 games, it's not happening.
Every team has scrubs, though.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
the Dodgers have scrubs.
I would have thought that scrubs like Trent Grisham and Ha-Seong Kim, who have some track record, who play great defense, would be kind of the good scrubs, though. And
Yeah.
they're not even close to like replacement level offensive players right now.
Right.
That I agree with you. I said it this week. You need your bottom guys just to be average Joe ho-hum hitters. They don't need to be stars,
Right.
but they're falling well short of that level right now.
Well, and yesterday's lineup was indicative of what's going on right now with the team because Trent Grisham was hitting 6th.
Yeah.
When Trent Grisham is hitting 8th, you can put up with 210 as long as it comes with a 320 on base and the slugging.
12
in the
doubles or whatever,
400s,
yeah.
Right.
And Gold
So,
Glove defense.
occasional smack down at the bottom of the order, consistent glove, 8th hitter, so he's getting 3.1, 3.2 at bats a game. Fine, no problem. But when you have an automatic out batting 9th, which is what, look, Austin Nola is the worst performing offensive catcher in baseball.
Yep.
And it's not really close. So when you've got and Brett Sullivan
Austin
got,
Hedges
you know,
is really bad too.
he's still
Really
Yeah,
bad.
still
It's not-
very, very bad.
It's not. Nola is.
He's better
like,
defensively.
Yeah,
though.
Nola's in a room to himself, and then you get to and I do. It seems like nothing, guys, but it's something. Okay, Rougned Odor is on this team,
Correct.
and that's a problem for the San Diego Padres in multiple ways. I said this in spring training when I freaked out a little bit about this on our prediction podcast on Padres Hot Tub. People thought I was really overreacting at the time because it was like, oh, Rougned Odor, they like him. He'll play in right field. He might lead off. The problem of Rougned Odor, you can go look this up, guys. Rougned Odor, the last 5 years, is basically the worst player in baseball. I'm not kidding. Like, statistically, he's basically the worst player in baseball. He is consistently the worst defensive second baseman when you play him at second base. He is a terrible defensive second baseman. He does not get any hits. He strikes out all the time. Literally all of his value comes in home runs, which he hit one yesterday. And then tried his goofy Derek Jeter jump throw on top of the bag that cost the team the game. Plain and simple, cost the team the game. A double play that Kim would have turned, Cronenworth would have turned, and Matt Carpenter would have turned. Odor went, wee, and did not turn it. But here's the thing. It's not just that Rougned Odor is the worst player in baseball, which he is. His OPS plus coming into yesterday, guys, was 6. 100 means an average player.
Oh, my God.
Okay? 6 means you're 6 points better than a dead man.
I wonder if I could get 3, or if Ben could get 3, an
I mean,
OPS plus a
seriously,
3
right?
in the big leagues.
But and this is the last point I want to make.
Holy
Rougned
cow.
Odor is a name everyone knows.
Sure.
He's an established big league player. We know the punch. We know the homers. We know Texas, right? And the problem with having a player like him on your roster is you play him.
Yes.
The problem with having a kid, and instead of AAA, no name, Tim Lopes,
yeah.
right? If Tim Lopes is 1 for 25 with 18 strikeouts, you don't roll him out there again.
Right.
But Rougned Odor, you're like, hey, Roogie, go get me a bomb, kid. And then he hits you one, and that's even worse.
It
because
better not
then
have
you've-
bought him 2 weeks.
That's what
man.
I'm
It
telling you.
Better not
Is
have
this-
bought him 2 weeks.
Is this really AJ Preller's biggest weakness? Is that he is such a great scout and he remembers all these guys that he watched and knows all their talent.
Because he had
but
3 30-plus
can't-
home run
he can't-
seasons.
He
Yeah.
can't clear the memory, like clear the cache of, okay, that's not the player anymore. You're remembering a different guy, and that's not Rougned Odor anymore.
I absolutely think there's part of that. But whatever way it is, Tim Lopes should be on this team,
Yeah.
and Rougned Odor should be off this team. Austin Nola can't continue to be the starting catcher for this team. Brett Sullivan can't continue to be the starting catcher for this team. Unless Camposano is coming back, they need to get a catcher.
ASAP.
And that's like one of the things we've talked about, speculated on the show, fake, not, completely speculative. But look at a guy like Grandal on a terrible team in Chicago. Look at what he does. You could flip a AA kid for Grandal and his salary. Maybe the Sox pay all but $2 million of it, and bring a guy that's got a consistent 330 on base percentage, switch hitter to the bottom of your order, and actually put some guys on for the people 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember, we keep talking, 1, 2, 3, 4. No one's on for them.
Nobody's on.
7, 8, 9 is a black hole.
Yeah. It's great points. I mean, great points. Absolutely. Are you, and I know this was kind of your prediction. This is kind of what your gut was telling you at the beginning of the year, talking to our pal Craig Elston here, The 500 team till now.
President of the Rugnet Odor fan club.
Yeah.
As you can tell. 500 team right around till now was kind of your call. Did you actually say May 10th?
I said May 15th.
May 15th. Okay.
Like literally the day after the Dodgers.
Right.
Yeah. So the 500 is maybe a bit of a stretch at this point, maybe a little bit below. Hopefully they come out and play strong this weekend. That said, 124 games left to go today. What's your panic level?
It's pretty low.
Yeah, mine too.
It's pretty low, to be honest, and it's in part, Woodsy. It's because you said it. I literally thought this was going to happen.
Right.
So like it's played out to the day almost so far. Because I said they'd be 9-11 when Tatis came back. They were literally 9-11, and then I said they would continue to struggle for the next couple weeks because this team has never had their footing. They never even had a spring training together, and they're finding their footing. Soto's starting to get hot. You know, the key players will be there for you at the end of the year. You know that. The changes need to be made at the bottom of the order. They can be made. It's not hard. And I thought yesterday was the key moment. When were they gonna start? Hey, I'm Manny Bleeping Machado. It doesn't matter. We'll show up tomorrow. We just got to play baseball and turn that into, you know what? We're 19-19. This sucks.
We better get our ass together.
Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah.
I loved hearing that from Melvin. I thought the timing was brilliant.
Impeccable. Yep.
And regardless of what happens this weekend, that was really important.
No doubt.
And I believe good times are right on the horizon.
I'll tell you the two things that I have more silently been worried about as a Padres fan than ever really felt the need to publicly state. But there was always a little bit of a pit in my stomach that Fernando Tatis Jr. would come back and wouldn't be Fernando Tatis Jr., whether it be because of the injuries or the time off or, God forbid, the PEDs, whatever it was. But that's been allayed in my mind. And then that Juan Soto was irreparably broken by his last season and the trade and moving over. And until about 2 weeks ago, I actually still had that one going. This last week or so has done a lot, though, to tell me that Juan Soto is still very much in there. And we can probably expect some pretty outstanding production for the remainder of his time with the Padres, however long that is.
Yeah, and I loved what you guys were saying about Tatis, so I'll just copy-paste everything that Stan was talking about. You guys were talking about. I think he looks dynamite. Soto, I mean, Sunday, at Sunday's game, I left last week really frustrated with Juan Soto. You know, and he had a rough weekend. He didn't drive in the key runs, and he dropped the ball that cost them the game. I mean, literally cost them the game. And I left frustrated. In Monday night's show, we talked about a lot this weird dynamic between, we've just spent a year going, everybody calm down. Soto will be fine. Don't worry about Soto. And then you finally get to the point that you're like, gosh darn it, get going, Soto. And then he gets going. So it is a matter of time. He is one of the best hitters in baseball. Does he need to be more aggressive on the bottom third pitches that pour into the zone 2-0? Absolutely. I think you're starting to see a little bit of that from him. And as he breaks out, I'll say one more thing. He should not be hitting fourth.
How do you move him now, though?
I know, I get it, but
You know?
he's your best on base.
I know.
Literally, you cost yourself a third of an at-bat a game moving from 3 to 4. So get him in on the first inning is
Where?
what I've...
Three.
Absolutely. I'd go
Doesn't
Tatis, Manny, Soto.
Yeah, Tatis, Manny, Soto.
And I like Bogarts hitting after Soto as that line drive, move it around guy. Bogarts has been awful for a month. For 30 games, he's hitting about 200. But he'll be there. These guys are going to be there. Little things. I never liked when Tatis was cleaning up, by the way, either.
No.
For the same reason. So put those three guys at the top. Let's see what happens.
Craig, let's take time out. We'll come back and we're going to get our Crossing Streams segment in as well with the streaming television recommendations. I did watch about 4 episodes of last week's recommendation, Jury Duty. We had a lot of laughs at home on just are they really doing this sort of thing? If you remember last week's recommendation, it is a wild show. Can't wait to hear what Craig has for us coming up next. We're giving away some Padres tickets here at AleSmith. Get down here. I got some SeaWorld passes I'm going to give away again in our break here. Don't go anywhere. More Ben and Woods coming up after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan. Through the Fan live all day long here at AleSmith Brewing Company, Miramar Road. Head on down past the pyramid if you're heading east, and then turn left on AleSmith Court and pull right in and enjoy all of our broadcasts. We're going to be wrapping up here at 10 o'clock, but Braden's already here in for Coach Gwen and Chris. Sammy's pregame show at 5. Is it 5:40 or 6:10 today? It says 5:40, so I guess it's 6:40. First pitch tonight against the Dodgers.
They'll
have the game on. I think it's 6:10.
Yeah.
I think it's the Dodgers love starting later than everybody else.
Well, you know, the old
I mean, they're already late to arrive. Imagine if they started at 6:40, fans wouldn't get there until the 5th inning if they started at 6:40. So.
I'm really happy that I'm nuking my Twitter today because I don't have to see the word classy for the 7 billionth time and have to hear about what a classy organization that they are. And oh my God, I feel like I just got out of
I almost want them to take
Attica.
a gratuitous scoreboard shot at Fernando Tatis Jr. Just to get it
Even
over with.
things out.
I mean, people still blaming the scoreboard for, not scoring.
1-4 post meme.
It's ridiculous. Come on, man.
Hey, win some games so we don't keep that stat.
One hit away.
I don't know.
every night.
When Trent Grisham came up with the bases loaded yesterday, I kind of saw him thinking about that scoreboard.
I did too. At 2 strikes.
While he was up there. Yeah. Didn't you see that? Really?
He was like thinking fastball, thinking meme.
right
breaking
in his
ball.
eyes right there.
Yeah.
That's
93
probably
cutter
why.
down the middle. Pass.
We got our friend Craig Elston here with us, and it's time for our Crossing Streams recommendation duty last week. We're into that now. It is absurdly hilarious. Where are we going this week, Craig?
All right. This is one of my shows that I love recommending the most. It was, as you know, Crossing Streams, television streaming podcast. Every week, people come up, love it. People listen to the show. Hey, what can you recommend from me? And I always have like 2 or 3. And last year, I would always have 2 or 3 in the back. Well, have you watched? And it was Reservation Dogs, and it was Somebody Somewhere. And I'm back with Somebody Somewhere again here, and so excited to recommend it to the Ben and Woods audience. HBO Max, Somebody Somewhere, half-hour comedy. New episodes coming out on Sundays right after Barry. And it's the sweetest, funniest, most grounded, low-stakes, pleasurable trip through a half hour every week.
Ben. If
Kinda.
Ben was a TV show, pleasurable, low stakes.
I mean, I think that's what made
grounded.
Ted Lasso so popular to begin with as well.
Yeah.
They found there's a market. You don't have to be mean. You don't have to be nasty to entertain people.
Right. The premise of the show, the star is Bridget Everett. Bridget Everett is a large, loud, bombastic personality. She is known for vaudeville type shows that she's burlesque almost type shows that she does in New York, stage performer. So she's a real kind of larger than life personality, but she grew up in Eastern Kansas. And that's the premise of the show, is that her character, who is kind of a version of herself, but not herself, moves back to Kansas from the East Coast to help take care of one of her relatives, and is in Manhattan, Kansas, the home of Kansas State. And so you've got this kind of like prairie feel for somebody who's a little bit out of place personality-wise, but she finds her place in the community. And in particular, and I talked about this last season as well, her relationship with Jeff Hiller on this show, they have the most sweet, like, 2 friends like you wish were in your life. Like you literally wish these 2 people you could hang out with all the time. And by season 2, their friendship is so firmly entrenched, and it's just so funny and knowing and sweet. There's everything to love about Somebody Somewhere. It takes a couple of chances along the way, and it is a show that is an absolute delight.
Sounds exactly what I'm looking for right now.
Craig,
exactly.
Can't let you go without talking a little MLS with our resident soccer guy, our CMO of the Sockers, giant San Diego Loyal fan. You've been hearing the same thing, that the MLS is coming.
It's coming.
It's not going to be involving the Loyal, so they're
Correct.
kind of on their own island. Is it going to be involving the Sockers, though?
No.
No, okay. So we know that. That's it. All right. Just checking.
Just when you thought we were out.
They pull us
Phil
We're
Savage,
back.
not going to be the coach of the MLS team.
Julie V.G. Wilrich
coming
and your
back.
San Diego
Yeah,
Sounders.
they did have an outdoor soccer
They
version
absolutely
long
did.
ago. I remember that. Not quite as popular as the indoor version.
What is your as a soccer enjoyer?
Yeah.
Maybe the biggest soccer enjoyer I know of all leagues, all kinds. What is your take on the product itself? San Diego notwithstanding,
Yeah.
the MLS as a product. Do you enjoy it?
Yes. And I think you will enjoy it more when you have a club. And then you start to get to know the other clubs and you start to develop the rivalries that exist within the league. My entry, and it sounds terrible, LAFC was a team I have supported in MLS. And I always said I would support them until we got a club in MLS in San Diego. The guy,
Not a rivalry, by the way. The LAFC and the new San Diego club.
not a rivalry.
Not a rivalry.
Not expected to be a rivalry.
0 rings here.
Absolutely.
Not classy, 0 rings. Trophy case empty. Just so you know, I'm going to get all this out right now.
So, some of the very early things I've heard about this MLS group in San Diego is that they have already gotten some of the folks who have helped made LAFC in Los Angeles. They're trying to bring that type of ethos here to San Diego. If they're going to start playing in 2025, they've got the 2-year ramp up that I think you really need.
Gotta have it.
Because soccer is a different sport than other major sports. It's built through the community. It's generally built through the grassroots. And the struggle right now is that the grass has grown under the Loyal. There has been 4 or 5 years for the supporters, 5, 6, 7 years of planning and execution to create something that you've really invested a lot of your time, heart, money, and passion into. And now, do you switch?
Because if the NFL shows up here tomorrow, fan base sold out, everyone's in. If the NBA shows up here tomorrow, you're going to pack the place. I'd even say the NHL would get a good draw in year one.
Have we invented a false narrative, though? The Sockers existed, and I cheered for the Sockers, and I do, and they've been fun and great. Then the Loyal came along, and I'm like, okay, they're fun, and they're drawing fans. That's good. Then the Wave came along, and it's not like we all said, oh, now that the Wave are here, the Loyal have to go away.
Right.
People are going to Wave games and Loyal games and Sockers games. Can we not have another team? An MLS team comes in, and I cheer for the Loyal. I cheer for the MLS team. I cheer for the Wave. I cheer for the Sockers. I mean, obviously, I can't go to every single home game of every team all the time, but there are a lot of soccer fans in San Diego.
It's just lazy. Let's just lazy sports for fun.
Yeah, let's get in. No, I mean, it's not impossible. And depending on, the work that the great folks at Loyal, like their owner, Andrew Vasiliadis, Ricardo Campos, and downward in that organization, what, they've said they're not going anywhere. But, they did their Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah.
I ain't leaving. Right. And can they on a lower level? Yes, but it's going to be hard. This is basically Walmart coming in for your favorite mom and pop corner store. But the thing is, Walmart has all the things you need all the time. It's always in stock with lower prices. Like, MLS gives you the opportunity to compete in CONCACAF. MLS gives you the opportunity to compete in the Nations League. You take a step into the international soccer world from MLS. Only thing you can do with USL Championship is either win the championship in USL or try and make a run in US Open Cup, right? Both of those are worthy goals. MLS has more to offer overall. That's why it's the biggest level in the United States. And I was just with some great locals fans yesterday and last night, and we were talking about this over beers, and it's like, your heart is torn. You want to, and you can continue to support locals as a local. You could continue to come out to Loyal and then also support for an MLS team. But I tell you what, time, money, bandwidth, it's really, really hard. And with that, it's going to be difficult to do both. I commend the Loyal for continuing to stay. It's going to be tough, and they know it. Everyone knows it.
Greg, appreciate you coming down in person.
You're the
taking
best,
the time.
buddy.
It's always good to see your smiling face. Thank you for the Crossing Streams recommendation, as always, and we will talk to you next Friday.
You got it, boys. Enjoy.
Craig Elston, all guests appearing on our Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad fan hotline. Save money the right way with Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad. Visit them today in the Carlsbad Auto Mall. Chevrolet, find new roads. Adam Klug is going around giving donuts to people.
Well,
I would like a donut.
Pieces of
I'll
donuts.
I'll take a piece of a donut right here. I'll also take a Reindl report from Paulie Reindl when we come back here with Bennett Woods on 97.3 The Fan. June the 3rd at Petco Park. I saw recently that they changed the game times around. They moved the Sunday game back a little bit because of the Rock and Roll Marathon, I think, to like 2:30, I want to say.
Yep.
And then
That's what it was. I was like, why the heck?
Yeah.
And then it was weird. Like it's a Friday, Saturday,
Sunday,
Monday
wraparound.
series,
And they moved the Monday game up a half an hour to 6:10 p.m. because the Cubs want to drive up to Anaheim a little bit earlier after the game. I guess they're playing the Angels next. So, yeah, a couple of changes of game time. Now, this game, June 3rd, which day of the week is that one? That's the Saturday night game against the Cubs. So we'll give away those tickets right at the end of the show after Clubs of the Week. We're at AleSmith. It's great. We just had Peter, the founder and the head guy here. I mentioned that they won another gold medal at the World Beer Cup this week for their old ale. He said, that one, the judges love that one.
I just call it ale.
He also dropped off some of their homemade cheese curds, which are delicious.
Chili,
They make 'em in the back.
lime,
Yeah, I
and
know.
chili.
Oh my God,
delicious.
So good.
Cheese Smith. You get that? They got the Ale Smith.
Oh,
and the
Cheese Smith.
as well. Very delicious.
What is your Smith? Golf Smith?
There's a store called Golf Smith.
Mine's
actually.
Nap Smith. Is
Nap
what
Smith.
I am. Nap Smith is the name of my brand. Nap Smith and Tired Smith also.
I could be a Tired Smith as well.
Grumpy Smith
at the end of the week for sure.
Pissy Smith.
Paulie's,
Chubby Smith.
Paulie's
Hungry
a
Smith.
Headline Smith. He's going to give us his
Headline
roundel report right after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
Headline Smith.
From the premier Cadillac of Carlsbad Traffic Center, part of the premier auto family, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by the San Diego County Sheriff's Department. Guys, we're wrapping things up with a couple of problems. Hit and run crash now on the westbound 8, right at the northbound 15 connector ramp. And somebody is changing a tire northbound side of the 5 before the 52 in the center divide, very close to traffic. So please move over a lane if it's safe to do so. That's northbound 5 before the 52. The San Diego County Sheriff's Department is working hard to keep San Diego safe and is now hiring. The Sheriff's Department offers rewarding careers with growth and has an opportunity for anyone with integrity that wants to make a difference. Go to joinsdsheriff.net to learn more. That's joinsdsheriff.net. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
And get things started here with our today's edition of the Reindl Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the Reindl Report with Paul Reindl.
Hi, Paul.
All right.
2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the Reindl Report
Oh, how you doing? Okay, how are you?
on 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
Can I get a oh yeah?
All right.
All right.
Headline Smith. Paul Reindl, ladies and gentlemen.
Guess I'm the transition Smith on the show.
Very, very much so.
Go out on top. Don't ruin it.
Yeah, you already
You're
had
going to go one more.
He always
That's
does
gonna
one
be bad.
extra. Like when he asked Scan a question with
30
one
seconds
and a
to
half
go.
minutes left. I'm just panicking over here.
Scan gives longer answers. I know this. I do know
Man.
this. We
I
got
just
out
want more
in
for
time.
me, Scan. I'm like, oh no.
I got out in time. I made it. Skin of our teeth. I did.
Holy cow.
All right. Start off in the NFL. Yesterday was the full schedule release.
Yep.
We talked about the Titans video that's gone
Just
viral.
go through it
It's
for
great
us
stuff.
quickly.
Yeah,
We're gonna
all
go through
teams,
all
all
17
games.
weeks
Yeah,
for all
every
32
game.
games.
Come on,
Guys,
see
here we
you guys
go.
Monday.
Starting week 1 for your Arizona Cardinals. Now, that used to be a huge day
It
if
was a huge
you
day.
have a team, but we don't
I
have
had
a
to
team.
create like graphics for television of every opponent for the Chargers.
So fun
and
to circle. Okay, I think
pretend
we got
like
this
this
Win,
one.
win,
Yeah.
loss,
Yeah.
win. And every team, you're like, back then, you're like, damn, 12-4, not bad at all. I think we can do this.
Well, we're not going to go through the schedule. I did see Aaron Rodgers. I think it's Jets Packers.
Jets
Monday night.
Bills. is
Jets
the-
Bills.
is the,
Monday
is
Night
his
Football is the first
yeah.
game. Yeah. So
On
that-
September
that's
11th.
that's the
Paulie's
big one.
second favorite
L.
holiday. Yeah.
Go ahead and call the L there.
So, anyways, elsewhere in the NFL, I saw this headline this morning. Tom Brady is in talks to become a partner with the Las Vegas Raiders.
Always interesting to me when a guy that has such a storied career wants to be in ownership but doesn't go and try to get a piece of the team. Like Jeter going to the Marlins,
Yeah.
Michael Jordan going to the Where the hell did he go? The
Hornets,
the
Pelicans,
no,
the
what was it?
Bobcats.
Who's the Raiders quarterback now? Jimmy Garoppolo.
Jimmy Garoppolo.
I don't know. You think Tom Brady owner / quarterback?
No,
Like he puts
I
himself
don't
in.
think he's coming back.
Warren
don't.
Beatty and Heaven Can Wait. That
I
owns
don't
the
think
team
so.
and
That's
backs
really,
them.
really modern reference from 1978. Everybody,
Yeah, I guess-
anybody ever seen Heaven Can Wait out there? No, me neither.
Tree Rat's seen it, I'm sure.
It says here discussions between the two sides have been going on for weeks and could be reaching a resolution here soon. It's still a sensitive and fluid negotiation.
Okay.
I guess Brady's just kind of dipping his toes in, just kind of seeing what's out there.
Imagine how being him and knowing I can literally dip my toes into anything I want to do. Anything.
So Tom Brady wants to own the NFL team or partly in Vegas. LeBron wants to put an NBA team in Las Vegas.
It's another one. It's weird that he wouldn't own the Cavs.
Yeah,
Right.
no, just
Yeah,
want-
like
I
want a
mean,
piece of that.
I guess athletes just like going to Vegas.
They
Is
like
really
Vegas.
the moral of the story.
Yeah,
here.
no doubt.
Yeah, so something to keep an eye on. Tom Brady, possibly some stake in ownership with the Las Vegas Raiders. Bring it local here. This week, the Gulls introduced their new head coach, Matt McIlvain. And
Real or fake, Woods? New coach.
Real. Matt
Real.
McIlvain.
Very good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ding. So I didn't know much about him, but he's a younger guy.
Did you not follow Salzburg of the International Central Hockey
A
League
little bit?
that
How
much?
dare you.
A little bit.
He's apparently done extremely well in Salzburg.
I've
the
followed
last couple
Salzburg
of
just a
years.
little bit, not nearly
All
as
right.
much as you. But yeah, the new head coach for the San Diego Gulls, he's just 37 years old.
Is that 3 in 3 years?
Well, yeah, they had Roy Summer,
Yeah. Wah.
Raw.
Waugh Summer, who retired after just one
It's
season.
just 1 year.
Yeah, he came in like after something like 80 years with the San Jose Sharks organization, and then just did one and said, "I'm out" with the Gulls. Now, the Gulls had the worst record in the AHL.
Yep.
The Ducks had the worst record in the NHL.
Time
Did-
to
didn't
time
win-
to clean
Didn't
house.
win the Connor Bedard sweepstakes. Good work in almost remembering his name
Thank
when I was
you.
out
Connor
earlier
McDavid,
this
I
week.
said.
He's
Yeah.
already in the league.
Yeah.
Connor Bedard, though, is the guy that the Blackhawks will be drafting.
Now,
The
he-
Ducks get the second pick. Woohoo! Like
that-
whoever gets the second pick
Okay.
in the NBA draft.
Just for the
coming up
Gulls.
too.
Just for the Gulls.
Gulls, I don't know.
Maybe a little bit better. I mean, if you're
I mean,
strictly for the Gulls, because Bedard's going to go straight to the NHL, right? He's not.
I have no
screwing around in
idea.
the
He's
NHL.
really young. Yeah, maybe he'll get a cup of coffee with the Gulls before they bring him up. But
Yeah.
well, he's not. He's going to the
No, I'm
Blackhawks
sorry,
anyway.
But so their
So,
second,
yeah,
the second
yeah.
pick,
The second pick
stick around a
probably
little bit
is someone
longer.
will be to watch. It's got to be better though.
Yeah.
At some point. But good luck to Matt McIlvain. I mean, I'd rather live in San Diego than Salzburg. I think.
Where is Salzburg?
I don't even-
Salzburg's in Austria, isn't it?
You're asking. I'm asking
Yes.
you. You're asking me.
All right, and then, guys, we haven't talked about this at all over the last few weeks, but
Oh, I didn't want to.
very scary stuff that's happening with beloved actor, comedian, musician. What else? Jamie Foxx is not doing well.
Are we sure?
We don't know anything. That's kind of the problem, and it's not anybody's business, I guess. No medical information about somebody, but when you're that popular and of a figure and that big of a celebrity, people want to know. And I guess Jamie Foxx, damn near a month ago, was filming a Netflix film in Atlanta, and he had to be rushed to the hospital. And again, early reports, which is mostly just gossip, were something along the lines of an aneurysm or a stroke.
Oh no.
And I had seen things like, it's always a source close to the family, right? That's what anybody has to work with. And everything I kept seeing was genuinely positive. Like, oh, he looks to be okay. Looks like he's going to be coming out of this. He should be fine. And then over the last 48 hours, I would say, it's now to the point where the phrase that you hear from anybody close to him is praying for the best, but preparing for the worst.
That'd
which
be a huge loss.
that tells me it's not going well. And yeah, man, it really sucks that it took something like this for me to realize how great of an actor Jamie
brilliant.
Foxx is and how much I do enjoy everything that he's done. I mean, he is one of the most talented people on the planet, right? I mean, as far as the range, being able to be a good actor,
Triple threat.
funny,
Like
he's
Ben.
a comedian, musician,
Triple
incredibly
threat, dude, yeah.
talented.
What is your triple threat?
I can
Grilled
broadcast
cheese.
on radio. I can broadcast on television.
And
And
YouTube.
I can
You can fall asleep,
I can
at
sleep
a moment's
at a mo-
notice.
like snap-
like right
like,
now, he can fall asleep at a stoplight.
I could try, but let's see. You want?
Yeah,
Let's
he
see
can fall
if I
asleep
can fall asleep before the end of the show.
before the end of the
Yeah.
show. I bet you can. He can do it. He's done it. He did it at a meeting with our CEO. There's no way he can fall asleep live on the air. This is quite a parlor trick for a live remote. Yeah, I hope Jamie Foxx is okay. I really like him a lot.
I don't think I'm gonna be able
Can't
to
do it.
Yeah,
I mean,
It's
you're
too-
here,
I
that's
mean,
fine.
maybe in studio where it's quiet.
Yeah, it's much quieter.
But here at an AleSmith tasting room in front of a lot of people, there's a lot of pressure.
Does
I don't think I
Italian
can fall
Paul?
asleep.
Does he have the flubs ready?
I believe
We got a couple minutes
he
because
does.
Oh, do we?
Can I give you didn't give us an NBA. You always give us an NBA update.
Yeah. Well, I mean, nobody. Okay, go ahead.
I mean, Game 7 now. The Celtics won on the road yesterday,
Okay, and now I'm going to try to fall asleep during the show.
forcing a Game 7 at home on Sunday, and then the Nuggets absolutely destroyed the Suns to finish off that series last night. So they're going to the Western Conference Finals. You know, the Nuggets are one of only like 5 or 6 teams in the NBA that have never been to the NBA Finals, and now they're one step away
Get right out.
from doing that.
That's
yeah, it's true.
a crazy stat.
Lakers and Warriors tonight. Lakers at home trying to close out the series against Golden State.
3-2 there.
Heat also trying to close out the series at home in Game 6 against the New York Knicks tonight.
3-2 there. Oh man,
So, kind of
All
the
right.
pressure though on home teams to get it done because they
Yeah.
don't want it they did like the 76ers now have to go on the road for Game 7. They didn't do it. The Lakers and the Heat trying to avoid that same fate of then having to go on the road in a Game 7.
There's your basketball, Ben.
Give you your update. We get the Padres tonight. Going to be here at the AleSmith Tasting Room all day long. But before we get out of here, as always, time for clubs.
Sit down at a California-style blackjack table or play some Texas Hold'em poker. Book a solar battery installation. Book a solar
What is
battery
the inspiration? Tatis has paid the big bucks to be our Shardy. Damn it. I have done it again.
I haven't heard much. The organization, Bob Melvin.
Who is Bob Miller?
Because Penske Lincoln's Dong Days of Summer sales event is on right now.
Benny and Call, a public safety power shutoff.
The meteorologist TNG.
Uh-oh,
I'm in trouble
cow.
too. The ump show is starting in 4 minutes.
Stu
We gotta go. Let's go, babe.
Sherwater's behind the dish.
Come on.
The dish. And of course, San Diego State taking on number 14 Yuha on Yuha. Bring it.
All right, we'll play this audio for
Oh,
you.
guys.
Gnarly.
It's gnarly.
Out of St. Louis, California. First hour of Ben and Woods. Glad to have you with us on Wednesday morning.
Glad to have you with
there,
me.
wherever we are. And both times, Austin Nolan drove in the one run.
Who is Austin Nolan?
Browns, Bengals, Ravens, 3 and 2 teams in
Who are
that
the
division. Ballast Point Beer, the official craft of the San Diego Padres, at Ballast Point in Little India.
He's not 35.
But he will
fixing
be before the contract is done.
What is a contract?
Holiday season is almost here.
30 days, half September.
And that is do this for a Wednesday.
Don't.
Ben and Woods back after a check of traffic on 97.3 FAM. He's got the 5th most wins coaching time, all-time coaching.
most?
5th most, yes. February 12th, State Farm Stadium in Glendale,
State what?
Arizona. State Farm Stadium. It's not what I heard.
It's not what I heard either.
Our first sound from Padres Spring Training
Here we
2013.
go.
I think when a veteran pitcher is having success with
Wow.
those numbers, 6-year history of Major League Rugby. I'll give
What
you
is rugby?
Sam San Diego's #1 sports station, 93 The Fan.
We're just talking about Landon Jonovan.
Who is Landon
God.
Jonovan?
Back after a check of traffic here on 91.37 The Fan. Almost the entire 97.3 The Crew is coming out.
And then, of course, Darvish and the kettlebell on the toe. Paul Reindl. It's our executive producer, YouTube director.
What's the director?
He's the director.
Soccer, they haven't lost the season all home, so we need you out there.
Love
Greg
it.
Elston will
I
join
love
us
that
with
one.
some
Streaming.
television. In which Grammy-winning Beatles song does Paul McCartney sing about the words that go together well?
Paul McCartney.
Paul McCartney. They haven't lost its season. All home.
I want to
true.
thank all the tier 1s showed up this
Yes,
morning.
thank you
Early.
very
I know
much.
it's tough on the way to work, whatever you're doing, but
Thank you.
everybody, thank you so much. Good to have you out here. Support. I think this is I think this is an opportunity this weekend for the Padres. It's not something to dread. This is a chance. You can't turn
Speak
around
for yourself.
You can't turn your season around against the Kansas City Royals.
No, you
can't.
can't.
You have to do it against a team like the Dodgers.
Yeah, you do. You do. It would go a long way. It'd go a long way for them, but it'd go a long way for the fan base as well. That's waffling a little bit. I see a little waffling. I mean, you don't have to watch. You don't. If it's killing you, if it's crushing your soul, take a breather. Take a breather.
I hate that I'm at the point where it's like, if you're gonna lose 9-1.
I know.
Those are
close
so much
games
easier to flush and just move
I
forward.
know you say that, but
These close games are killing me.
Those are real problems.
That's a real problem. I know.
Yep. Close losses are fixable. 9-1 losses are not.
They're excruciating.
They are tough.
I'm fascinated either way to see how these guys respond to Bob Melvin losing his cool a little bit yesterday. Even when he loses his cool, he's still a pretty level-headed customer, but clearly that was Bob Melvin at his most agitated yesterday.
God, I would not want him to be mad at me.
No.
Oh, like
I wouldn't want to disappoint him.
No,
it's not
of
so much
course.
that he's mad. It's like he's scary mad. He's the kind of guy that you feel like you don't ever want to disappoint.
Correct. Yeah, he's not going to yell at you and wear you out, but man, we've talked to him enough to know. I mean, he's a pretty intense guy, and we have cracked a couple jokes, and he's just kind of looked through me, and I've been like, oh God, okay, so it's like that. But now, I mean, he clearly is very beloved. I loved what Scan had to say about him, that he handles things the right way, and that's the kind of guy he would want to be managed by.
And to the players' credit, they've all responded by going, he's absolutely right.
Yeah, no doubt.
No one's like pushed back and gone, I don't know what the problem. I don't see it. No, I mean, they all.
Yeah, this isn't an Ollie Marmol situation.
Yeah.
The other thing, too, is something to keep in mind, and I know people want the turnover the table manager from time to time, and I just don't know that that's ever going to be him. That wears on you real quick. It just grates on you, and I don't know that it brings the best out of guys. So his communication is second to none, and that's what he's been doing. So.
Got to thank a ton of people for helping us out today. Guys that came down to set up Travis, and I don't even remember the names. They were over here, but thank you so much getting us going this morning. We got Italian Frank back in the studio. Thank you so much.
Sorry about your Mets, Frank. There he is.
Got a ton of management.
Yeah.
97.3 The Fan and Odyssey here today as well. Adam was handing donuts to everybody. For Paul
Thanks to
Rundle, our
Ale
executive
Smith.
producer. For Woods, Ben Higgins. Thank you, El Smith. Braden's coming up next right here on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.